John joins us in San Diego, California. John, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, thanks you guys for having me today. Honored to speak with you and your listeners.
Thank you. How can we help?
Yeah, so just a question for you guys. My fiance and I are getting married in August.
Cool.
And
Congrats.
we've been drafting up thank you guys. Yeah, we've been drafting up a kind of a plan to combine our finances once we get married. And obviously we'll do our day-to-day checking account. But beyond that, I was curious what you guys teach. I was looking for a video that Dave was talking about this and couldn't find one. How many other bank accounts should we have open, or do you recommend that we have open to just kind of manage our financial goals and go up the baby steps? Just curious to get your thoughts.
First of all, John, you are a stud. The fact that you're trying to map out a plan for this already, I feel like this marriage is already off to a good start, John.
Well, nerds attract. I think we both are into numbers and math, and we're both very excited to do this.
And you're both on board with the Ramsey plan?
Yes, we are. Yeah,
they're going to be unstoppable.
All right, John, so I'm going to tell you what I did in my marriage, okay?
Okay, great.
The first time. Same marriage.
I was going to say, clarify, John, clarify.
And then after we were married for a while, I'll tell you what happens now, okay?
Uh-huh.
When we first got married, let's be honest, I was a genius. And by genius, I mean I was an idiot. And I had an account for savings. I went to one bank. Then I went to another bank for our checking account where our paychecks were deposited. I had another bank for like a side hustle account. I ended up with bank accounts everywhere. And I thought what I was doing was making things very simple and cut and dry. I would always know where this was and that was. And what I made was a huge mess, a giant, idiotic mess. And so now we have one account, one central account, and in it we have sub-accounts there. One might be a savings account, one is our emergency fund, one is a lagging fund because of the way we get paid here at Ramsey Solutions, so I will dump money into that one and hold it so I can pay something, I continue to pay my house off and things like that. But we create sub-accounts, and then if we want to have a sinking fund to save up for a car, we created another one and dump money into that one. So it all stays in the same place. We can see it with the same account. It goes on the same EveryDollar app. We don't have to deal with 50 different banks. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, that's a good word there. And I'll tell you what I do, John. I keep our emergency fund in a separate online high-yield savings account. And then we do all of our other banking with a local brick and mortar here in town. And we have a checking account, and then we have our savings accounts. And like John said, you can have multiple. We have one for sinking funds. We have one for vacation. We have one for the car upgrade fund. And that doesn't complicate things, but what it does when it's in one account, it helps you separate what's for what.
Right.
Because you have one giant savings account, and you go, well, how much of this is for the car, and how much of this is for emergencies, and what's for vacations?
Right.
And so you can make as many as accounts as you want. But like John did, don't overcomplicate it. If you have 15 accounts, it may get a little hairy. So I would say have as few as possible while still accomplishing your goals.
Yeah, because, with all the advent of online banking, there's so many ways to check a million different banking apps. And she and I have, several credit union accounts that we've individually had open since we were both in college. Obviously, we'll close those or add each other's names to them. But I like the idea of just streamlining it so that it's all in one place. Does this also go for, obviously our Roth IRA is going to stay independent, because it's an individual retirement account. Do you guys recommend that when couples get married that they have the exact same financial advisor for both of those accounts? Or, she and I obviously before we met had different financial advisors for those. So what do you guys recommend for those kinds of accounts that have been open forever that will stay individual?
See who does better.
You'll have a death match and you see which one you pick. I'm just kidding. Hey, just let this be as y'all start your marriage. Let the word simple distill every one of your decisions. What's the simplest way we can do this right now? The world is selling us complexity. The world is selling us, you need to be doing this. If you're not doing that, you should be doing that. And and the world is telling us individualism, which is, how dare you communicate with somebody else about their financial goals? That's hers. Well, she's my wife. I don't care. That's her goals, your goals. Simple, simple, simple. I recommend having the same financial planner.
It's so great.
I don't want to get different advice than my wife's getting, and we're both working together towards the same financial goal. Right?
And I want you in the room at the same time talking to that person,
right?
So that you both have the same language and understanding. Versus, well, my financial advisor told me to do this.
Mine told me to do that.
So I would keep it simple, like John's saying. Stick to that checking account, a savings account, and if you want to keep it separate, because that makes me not touch the cookie jar when it's over here in this online account, I like that. And you sometimes will get a higher interest. Right now, I'm at like 1%, which is amazing in the world of a savings account. I'm crushing the game. But again, it's not there to make you money. It's there to protect you. Susan is kicking us off in Des Moines. Susan, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Happy to take it. What's going on?
Hey, so I'm watching about the current hurricane that's heading towards Florida, and yeah, I live in Iowa, so we get lots of tornadoes here. And I was thinking, if something wiped out the power in this area, a big natural disaster, and I didn't have access to my emergency fund, how much cash should I have on hand just in case?
Interesting question. How much do you have in your emergency fund right now?
I have over $1,000 right now.
Okay. What baby step are you in? Have you been following the plan?
I've been following the plan, yeah. So I want to say like 2.5 to 3.
So you still have some debt?
I do still have some debt, but I'm down to less than 15% of my overall available.
Okay. How much debt do you have left?
I have about $15,000.
Okay. And then $1,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I mean,
I'm not counting my mortgage in that $15,000.
Sure.
That's
that's your consumer debt.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you called the right show at the right time because I have the prepper himself, Dr. John Deloney. This man has enough deep freezers to last a century.
Yeah, I'm more into food and things like that more than I am cash. So, hey, this is actually I grew up in Houston, so very similar. Tornadoes and hurricanes all the time, just kind of a part of life. So I'm going to tell you what I think, and I'm going to tell you what my reality is. Is that cool?
Yeah.
What I think is a small amount of cash that number is going to be relative to people. What I consider a small amount of cash and what Dave Ramsey considers a small amount of cash, very different numbers, right? But what would I need to get me a couple of days if I needed to go stay in a hotel, if I need to leave town and drive a couple hours away and put gas in the car, like very basic. If I need to go get some food and groceries and I didn't have access to A, B, or C. It's balancing this. What could happen with, like, what's probably going to happen, right? And as the son of a homicide detective, I was raised to believe it could all come down at any moment because that was my dad's world. And so that's my natural bent, and I've had to train myself over the years to, it could, but it probably won't, right? It probably won't. So I have no problem if you have $1,000 in emergency fund that you keep $250, $500 at home in cash, just as I can go get a hotel and I can drive somewhere and be somewhere for a couple hours, or I could drive 24 hours and get out of here and go stay with a friend, right? That's what we're looking for. The idea that if the whole banking system goes down, the cash is worth the paper it's printed on, right? So we tend to overdraw. We tend to pretend that the world, after some kind of crazy calamity, that the world would exist as it does. And I have a friend who's a banker, and he's like, dude, if the whole world goes down, you're going to be shooting your neighbor for water and barbecuing dog. Like the world as you know it is over, right? So it's not like my cash is going to help. Here's the other side. I don't say I'm a prepper. I'm just someone who's prepared. How about that?
Sure, that's literally a different verb.
But I live in the woods and I have a year's worth of meat on hand right now. That's right. So George would call me a prepper.
I live in a neighborhood, in a society. It's a little different. It's
exactly.
Fine. But there is wisdom in what John said.
But I don't have any cash at my house right now. I don't have $5,000 hidden at home. I've done that before. I don't have that right now. I'm not super concerned about it.
Okay.
There's a spectrum from like a tornado may be coming versus like it's the apocalypse, which I've seen Left Behind. Very scary. Anytime I see a pile of clothes, I'm nervous. I'm like, is this it?
Is
it happening?
It's gone.
But
Right.
Susan, I think it's wise if you have $1,000 right now in the bank. If you want to take out 500 of that in cash and put it in a fireproof safe, I think there's some wisdom.
If that's going to help you sleep, cool.
Yeah, but I also wouldn't go
Okay,
over.
yeah.
Once you're out of debt and
I
you
was
have a
just
fully
curious
funded,
what you guys thought.
yeah, once you get like 10,000 in the bank, maybe you up it to 1,000 in that safe to having cash just in case. Even beyond a natural disaster, sometimes you just need to have cash on hand. Your bank account's got locked up for some reason. And so there's wisdom in that.
During the tornado that came through Nashville here, I don't know when the last time you were in like an event where power went out for a couple of days or something like that, but I was stunned at how fast technology has shifted. People were able to buy things. I was able to buy something with my debit card on somebody's cell phone because they had one of those little plug-in things. It went very, very quickly, is what I'm saying. So I grew up one time when Hurricane Alicia came through. We had nothing for like 10 days, like nothing. We cooked on a camp stove. It was the whole deal. In some parts of the world that still happens. In some parts of our country that still happens. It's very, very rare.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel better,
good.
Susan?
I do. I just, I've got my dry food and my water and blankets and whatever else. And I was just thinking, wow, I don't have any money. Am I going to need to put some of that aside? So I wanted to know what your thoughts were on it.
In my life, the more cash I have at my house, the more money I spend on stuff that I really don't need. It's a self-control mechanism.
But that's why I like keeping it in the fireproof safe. Not just going to sit in the wallet, John. That's how it disappears. But this is a real, John, regardless of what the reason is, natural disaster, something else, there's a lot of fear. Like I get messages probably at least once a week of someone going, but I was watching the news and what if the digital money and currency goes digital, and I saw what if Biden and the IRS is going to start looking at our, and it just spirals out of control.
Right.
And usually they don't say I'm looking at the news. I just say, hey, turn off the news.
Turn it off.
And they go, yeah, you're right.
Turn it off. I've told it on this show, but a buddy of mine who's he's a banking commissioner, and he's just a brilliant mind when it comes to money. I was hammering him one time. Just, what about this and what about this? And I was in one of my anxiety spirals. It's all coming down. And he finally said the magic words that was like a light switch for me. And he looked at me and said, hey, John, I don't have a meteorite plan. And I was like, what's that supposed to mean? And he goes, I'm going to put money in retirement. I'm going to put money in this program. I'm going to pay my house off. I don't owe anybody on cars because they're depreciating assets, and it's dumb to borrow money on he's just so straightforward as a banker. And then he goes, and then if I get hit by a meteorite, I'm going to deal with that on that day because I'm just not going to waste my. And I was like, oh, yeah. So if all the monetary system implodes and crashes,
we have bigger issues.
There'll be much bigger
not
issues
having cash
going
on hand.
That's exactly right. That at that point, you know what's going to be your best bet, your best apocalypse bet?
What's that?
Have close relationships with your neighbors. Know your neighbors so that they don't look at you as an enemy. They look at you as somebody to do life with and to get through the next hurdles that y'all are going to have to overcome together. Know your neighbors really, really well. That's your best apocalyptic move.
That's good.
Not having a bunch of cryptocurrency.
They're not going to want that for the apocalypse is.
The zombies cannot be bought.
My neighbors, Gary and Lon, they're not going to be doing much with Dogecoin.
Nope.
But
they
I can
will
give them
bring
some
over a cup
tomatoes
of
from the
sugar.
garden. My neighbor gave me some tomatoes from his garden the other day.
Hashtag
it was a lovely
apocalypse. Right
lovely
there.
moment. Now that we can do it.
William is with us. William's in Louisville, Kentucky. Hi, William. How are you?
I'm doing good, Dave. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Thanks for taking my call, and Rachel, too. My question is, we're looking for guidance on how much we should spend on our next home. We're debt-free, and we've got a paid-off house right now, and I'm saving up for a next and bigger home. And I'm just looking for recommendations on how much we should spend on that as maybe as a percentage of our net worth, or where you're at on guidance, going into that bigger home category.
So you're paying cash for the upgrade?
We're saving cash for the upgrade, but we've got this house we're in now could probably net $350, and we're looking at homes in the $5 to $750 range, and we've got probably another 100 saved up for that one, but we're not to where we can pay cash for the next one yet.
Okay. Are you planning to wait until you do, or you're going to take out a small mortgage and then pay it off?
Well, originally I wanted to wait, and then now we just had our fifth kid here 2 months ago, and we're more than outgrown the house that we're in, and I think we're all ready for something new. And I could save 25 to 40,000 per year towards the new one, but it's going to be 8-10 years before I think I could get into having all the cash. So to answer your question, yes, I'd probably go get a loan for.
Yeah. What's your household income?
The gap in between this.
What's your household income?
We're about 150,000.
Okay. Well, yeah. The way I would look at it is say, okay, what can I get for the house? How much cash do I have? Putting all those numbers together, and then saying, if it's that mortgage payment, you can go back to that 25% of your take-home pay on a 15-year fixed rate. That's kind of our formula for a house in general. But you're putting down a massive, massive down payment, because of everything you're going to have from your current home and what you have saved. So yeah, I would look at those numbers, and then I would run out to a time frame to say, man, we want to be, if we can do this and we can be debt free again in 4 years or whatever it may be, so that you can pay it down quickly. I would factor that timeline in as well, William, and talk to your wife. How many kids do you guys have?
5.
We just had our fifth.
Oh, you just had your fifth. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So, what do you do for a living?
I work in engineering and construction.
Good for you. Okay. And you ask what percentage of your net worth. When you've got a net worth of under $1 million, your house is going to be the larger percentage of your net worth, typically. Especially when you work towards a paid-for house. Okay. And so, we had a young couple last hour doing their debt-free scream. Their house is 60% of their 70% of their net worth. They just paid off their house. And so that's not going to be unusual. You wouldn't want that high. The higher your net worth, the smaller the percentage would go to your house. If you have a $100 million net worth, you wouldn't want 60% to your house. That'd be weird. You see what I'm saying? So even a $10 million net worth, you wouldn't. But in your first $1 million of net worth, it's going to be the larger share. It's going to be north of 50% probably. Wouldn't be that unusual. But the good news is the house is going to go up, and you're going to be, once you've gotten that house paid off, you're going to be chunking into retirement. And so by the time you get to $2 million, it'll be 30% or something like that. And so the natural tendency is going to be your other investments are growing faster than the house because you're adding to those after you get the house paid off. And so, that as far as your net worth question goes, it sounds like everything you're doing is very safe and you're fine. Just put it on as short a term as you possibly can, maximum of 15 years, maximum of 25% of your take-home pay. But I think you're going to be well below the 15-year. You might want to do the full 25% and then even more beyond that. But I'd set the payment up at 25% on as short a term as that will allow, given the price you buy with the down payment you have. And if that means you do an 8-year loan, fine. If it means you do a 6-year loan, fine. That's fine. Put 10-year, put it on that. That's fine. Just put it out there at 25% and then throw extra above that on it. But your actual commitment monthly, don't let that be any higher than 15 or than 25% of your take-home pay. So you're doing good, man. You're doing good. You're thinking about it. You're way ahead. You're not normal. You're already weird. Congratulations. All right, we're going to start off this hour with Luke in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Hi, Luke. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call. It's an honor.
Honor to speak with you, sir. How can we help?
So I was calling to get some advice because I'm getting married in 6 months and moving out of home from my parents, and I'm wondering what you would advise as kind of like a nest egg or just a small. It feels like I should have some money set aside to pay for, like furniture and, the deposit and things like that.
Do you have an emergency fund right now?
I do. I have $1,000. I'm on baby step 2.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Dave, I am curious how much beyond the deposit. So you have your deposit for the apartment. I mean, if you're on baby step 2, I'm thinking pretty cheap. But Dave, what's your take?
Yeah, you need to. Well, I mean, basically, it's not. Do you need more than $1,000 in savings? That's not the question. The question is how you're going to fund the setup. And what do you make? What's your income?
50,000.
Okay. And so you've got the money coming in. You don't have any overhead to amount to anything, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you're going to slow down your debt snowball enough to cover your deposits, to get your utilities set up, to buy a garage sale couch and a Craigslist kitchen table, and get some dishes while you're at that garage sale. So you got something to eat off of, and just set the place up cheap, and then you can upgrade from there as you go along towards the marriage date, and with the wedding gifts as well. That'll help put a little nicer things in the cabinets, right? Get you a toaster and whatever else you got to have there, right? So, but the big things you're going to have to do is avoid just go retail. Spend $12,000 on furniture. You're not going to do that. You don't have $12,000.
Well, I think you really need to go in with like a frugal mindset, right? Rather than asking the question like, how much, should I have in a typical scenario? It's like, how cheap can we do this in a way that we still get to live in a place that's not, a terrible spot, but how can we save the most money in this situation?
I mean, talk to the apartment complex, find out what your deposit is, or what that is, what your first month's rent is. They're all going to be due up front. You also got to check with the utility companies, find out exactly what those are. Those are fixed numbers. And then just give yourself a used furniture budget and just get in there and start with nothing and start, super, super, super cheap and keep working your debt snowball all the while. Who's paying for the wedding?
My family. I'm paying for a little bit of it. I've already paid for the honeymoon, but the wedding isn't much of an expense. I'd say less than probably $500 is what I'll pay.
How much debt do y'all have?
So I only have like 10,000, but my fiance has about 80,000. So we have 90,000.
Well, there's not a we yet. After you're married, we have 90,000. But yeah, right now she's paying hers, you're paying yours until the actual wedding occurs, and then we combine everything and we attack from there. But I mean, the two of you can go shop for a garage sale couch together, and you're buying it, but you're both going to end up sitting on it certainly after marriage. And so go pick some of these things out, have an adventure with this stuff. And Sharon and I did this stuff, Luke. I mean, when we got married, it was if you go to the rich end of town, there are people that will put a $8,000, $9,000 leather couch out on their in their garage sale for $100 because they got to get out of the way.
Literally, the kitchen table we still use to this day, I got for free off Craigslist from a lady in the rich part of town who just didn't want it.
Yeah, just trying to get rid of it.
It was literally fully wood, like a $1,400 table that she didn't want to take the time to take somewhere else. So I was like, I'll take it. And it does make me think of that season when we were first, married, when I was first getting out in the world. Even with apartments, I would lliterally just refresh apartment websites trying to find deals. So I had my eyes set on this really nice apartment that was, I'm going to date myself a little, in Nashville. It was $900 a month. And I was like, I cannot afford that. I kept refreshing, refreshing. One time it refreshed and they said they had a special for $550 a month. And I jumped on it. I went in that day. So it's like I was just so hungry to find something that I could afford that it was less about, like, what's the typical apartment price? Can I afford that? I was aggressive in trying to find the best deal.
Turns the whole thing into a game.
Yeah, it's actually, it's fun.
Just a game. It's a game of how cheap can we do this, and how great a deal can we get? What kind of bargain can we get? And, that's how you get started. And the good news is that this is not a forever couch.
No. Unless you get a really nice one, like our kitchen table.
No, it's still not a forever couch because it's not your couch. I mean, it's a $100 thing to sit on,
right?
Or a $50 thing to sit on. That's all it is. And you're gonna upgrade later, and you're gonna upgrade later, and you're gonna move, and you're gonna do all kinds of stuff. And so it's 2 years from now, none of this will still be there. you will have moved on. Now, in your case, you've kept the table because it was a very cool table to start with. But yeah, so but I'm just saying, we don't have any of that furniture 40 years later that we started with. I'm just telling you, not one stick of it that I'm aware of. So, but that it's okay. It's just a place to start. So the point is, you don't need a bigger emergency fund. How much do I need to have in savings? No, you just need a budget to move in that encompasses your deposits and a little bit of setup costs for furnishings from the garage sale and the rich people into town. Joe's in Jacksonville, Florida. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
Well, I really need your advice, but I told my wife I did not want to call and get the public Dave Ramsey smackdown because I know I've been stupid. But I am a step 6 repeat offender because I'm a real estate addict. And every time we do our quiet, debt-free scream, I manage to go out and do stupid again and buy another rental real estate property. But the question I have is we have a mortgage I want to eliminate on step 6 again. And how much or how do we best wisely calculate our emergency fund? How deep can I go? We have the ability to pay it off, but the emergency fund for our personal income is one question. But then I guess the real question is for the rental portfolio, how much of a capital reserve do we need?
Yeah, good for you. Well, your personal is 3 to 6 months of expenses. On a business, and that's what a rental portfolio is, it's a business, you would have what we call retained earnings. And, retained earnings would go for emergencies, repairs, like, for instance, a heating and air goes out or something like that. And it would also, you would also build and calculate your retained earnings, if you're doing it well, for replacement of large items. Like, say, you've got a roof that's going to need to be replaced in 5 years. Then you want to be setting aside a fifth of that roof each year so that it doesn't sneak up on you, And so we've got a apartment complex that the parking lot's going to have to be redone, and that's a $100,000 expense or whatever it is, right? And we got 3 years to do that though, so we're going to put $33,000 aside for 3 years, that kind of a thing. So you would systematically build into your major repairs to keep you from having something quote unquote sneak up on you that shouldn't really sneak up on you, and then the second thing you would hold is just retained earnings for the totally unexpected. But how many houses have you got now?
We have 19 and about 23 different units within that.
Yeah. Have you got how long have you been doing this?
About 20 years.
I
had a career.
You probably got a pretty good set of books that you could probably look back and say, here, average per house or average per 10 houses or something. Here's what my unexpected repairs are: water heaters and heat and air, whatever else. And you've got carpet replacement, paint replacement on turnover. That's standard tenant stuff, right? Not every time you turn them over, but occasionally, every 2 or 3 times you turn them over, you're going to have to go through and hit that inside pretty hard. We do anyway, and so on. You're probably used to doing all that. I would say your P&Ls, if you look back through them, would inform your retained earnings pretty accurately. And in combination with that, I would look forward and say, what are known replacements and repairs that are large that I've got coming in the next 5 to 10 years, 3 to 10 years. And, or whatever, and let's add that in there too. And somewhere in there is going to give you a real common sense number on the retained earnings.
Okay. Our consistent experience has been about 50% of the gross revenue goes to manage and retain the business.
Yeah.
And then we cash flow about 50%.
Yeah, that doesn't sound unusual.
So if we cash flow hypothetically,
depend on the age of the properties. That if it's a newer property, it shouldn't be that high. But if these are 10-year-old, 15-year-old properties, you probably are seeing that because your heating and air starts.
So should we keep retaining a full year's worth of expenses in reserve then?
No, I'd take six months.
Okay. Great.
Because you've not had any cash flow. You're managing your cash already. You're joking around about you continue to go back into debt. That's a different issue, but you're already managing your cash. You've been doing this too long. You got too many properties. If you were doing it poorly, it would already knocked you off the saddle.
Yeah, I did. I want to knock out this last mortgage. I just didn't know how aggressive I could be with my reserves.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's kind of like your personal. If you take it down to $1,000 and you pay off your house, heat and air will go out the next day. So you don't want to invite Murphy to the party. So let's just let's give it a little wiggle room here and not go too aggressive. But also, you don't need a year and a half's worth of cash sitting there while you got a mortgage that you can reach over and knock out with a few months of that reserve. But it's like any other business. You can plan out your known. You get a rhythm of the emergencies once you've got enough volume like you've got. If you had 2 houses, it's harder to do. But when you got 20 and 23 units, you can start to get some averages, and you've been doing it a while, and you'll get pretty accurate on it.
So real estate for me it's a fascinating topic. I feel like even right now in our world, not just with the housing prices being up, but this is more, I feel like more than ever hearing people trying to get into real estate investing and it being part of their world. It feels like it's everywhere. And obviously, Joe's been doing this for a long time, but do you feel like there's been a surge of that too versus 10 years ago?
Yeah, there was really last spring we talked about it a lot. There was a real move, and you could feel it in social media, and you could feel it with Gen Z. There was this move of get rich quick real estate pop back up, which kind of was like making real estate cool again.
Yeah. So talk to everyone about the wisest way to do it, because we teach cash, but a lot of people are like, that's impossible. There's no way I could get in.
Not impossible. You just got to have the cash. It's not impossible at all. You got to wait till you have the cash. And it's so what it amounts to is to buy that first property. If you're buying houses, for example, and let's say you're going to buy a $200,000 rental property, which is not that unusual in a lot of cities. Some of your cities, that's not possible, but just call it that, and you go, okay, I'm going to save $40,000 a year for 5 years. It takes a little while to get the first one. But when you get the first one, then you've got the cash flow off of that, and you got no payments, and so you could throw that at this savings for the next one. And by the time you've got 3 or 4, pretty quickly you can buy a house a year off of the income from the houses, that kind of a thing. So it snowballs in a good way. That way, the snowball rolls over and over, and that's how we did it.
Right.
We first bought houses, and then 2008 hit, and I was sitting on a bunch of cash, and we got into a bunch of commercial at pennies, at 15 cents on the dollar. It was ridiculous. So the weird thing is, if you'll be patient, get yourself in a cash position, you'll find deals, and you'll find the market slows, and there's a moment in time where you can jump in. I've been in the real estate business 30 plus years in one way or another, and I've never seen anything as good as that 2008 was. It was wonderful for buying.
Yeah.
Because we were buying at pennies on the dollar, and I don't know that I'll ever see it again, but made a lot of money that year, 2 years, really. Jennifer is in Houston. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.
I have a quick question. We are on baby step 4, 6, and 7. We completed baby step 3, then my husband and I have a difference of what that looks like. So would we save 3 to 6 months worth closer to 3 or 6? And does that, if we say if I lose my job today, right, I'm not going to go get my nails and hair done. So down to the bare minimum. Or what actual 6-month spending looks like?
Probably between these two at your stage. And you can pick the 3 or the 6 month. That's not the issue. But then, is it absolute bare bones, or does it mean no hair, no nails, all that kind of stuff? So, what's your household income?
About $160.
Yeah, and how old are your 2 cars?
How old? I just bought a car for cash, a 2014 Lexus, and he has a 14 Expedition.
Okay, you got 2 good cars.
In good shape.
Yeah,
low miles. Yeah.
You're not dying on cars. So here's the thing that I discovered, and the reason I'm asking these things. when you're broke and you're just getting started, you remember those years back in the day?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everything's a freaking emergency because you're broke.
Right.
And you're driving junk cars, and you haven't done all the maintenance on the house, so even more stuff's breaking. And so it's like the fact that you're broke is inviting more strain on the emergency fund. Later on, when you've got more money and the air conditioner's getting serviced regularly on the house, and as soon as there's one little thing on the roof, you fix it immediately. It doesn't leak and create a bigger mess. And you're driving decent cars, so they're not breaking down. And you don't wait until there's a flat tire you happen to notice when they're getting a little bare, and you go change them out early, where when you're broke, you have to drive them until they blow, And so what happens is you get more margin in all these areas of your life. So the weird thing is the more money you get, the less need of an emergency fund you have, because there's fewer emergencies. Is that logical?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have two 15-year-olds and a 4-year-old. And then the only other factor would be that I'm wondering if we should pile it up a little more. I hate my job. I've been looking at Ken Coleman's stuff. And my performance has not been where it should be, just because I'm just making myself get up and go to work every day. Should we add a little more to it for that?
No, that's not an emergency.
Okay.
That's a transition. If you want to set some money to the side for job transition, you can do that. Feel free.
Okay.
Feel free. Set you 10 or 15, 20 grand over there for job transition, but let's not confuse that with the emergency fund. The emergency fund's for emergencies. This is not an emergency. This is a problem we need to fix.
Right.
Christmas is not an emergency. It's always in December. It's predictable. It's predictable that 2 years from today, you're not going to be working at that place.
God, I hope not.
And Jennifer, listen, can I, you didn't even ask this. Can I push on you for a second?
Please do.
Please don't sacrifice your dignity and your respectability and your work ethic and say things like, my job performance is slipping just because I don't feel like going anymore. If you're still employed there and still taking their money, show up and give 1,000%. And then when you're looking for jobs, give 1,000% on your job transition. But it will keep you from walking 6 inches lower, right, with your head held high. You will walk with your head held high, your chin held up. You will clean out your desk when you get that new job with a smile on your face.
Yeah, don't. You're not a person that mails it in.
No.
That's not who you are.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, go ahead and make the transition and set some money aside for that. And if you want to, what's happening is that transition is scaring you, and that's what's making you want to put the emergency fund on up. And so, put $25,000 over there right quick in the next few months to make this transition. That's a transition fund. It's not an emergency fund. And then you won't be worried about your emergency fund anymore, because your emergency fund probably just fine.
I love that idea, Dave. So a transition, a new baby coming, you need to get a new car. None of those are emergencies. Those are just, we need to have a sinking fund that we create and save up for that.
Yeah. You know what the problem is, and it's not her situation, but it's just all of us in America. We were just taught to have a savings account.
That's it. That's exactly right. One.
And you know what a savings account is? It's a put and take account.
Mm-hmm.
You put money in there, you take it out. Put money in there, and take it out and buy a bass boat. Put money in there, fix air conditioner. Put money in there, put stitches in the kid's head. Mm-hmm. Put money in there. It's a put and take. And so it's all this stuff is combined in this one general account that you always watch it, and it just never seems to do what it's supposed to do, because no one knows what it's really supposed to do.
And it's never enough. Or look at all that money I got, right?
Yeah. And when you separate out your savings and you say every savings dollar has to have a job, a mission, an assignment. Okay, this one's job is transition. This one's job is Christmas. This one's job is car replacement. And this one's job is emergencies. And don't confuse them.
I love that.
Buying a bass boat is not an emergency. There is no situation ever on planet Earth in which you can describe a bass boat purchase as an emergency. It's not on the list. I can emotionally get there, but intellectually we're all laughing right now.
Right.
And so, that's I was forced to buy a new car. No, you aren't. They didn't have a gun. You chose to buy a new car. And so these are the things, but that's the reason, and it helped me a ton. Because my nature's I'm not naturally a saver. It helped me a ton to say these things have a goal, because I am goal oriented. And once I have something with a goal, then ding, 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 I can do it.
I'm writing that down. Every savings dollar has a job too. Different than your light bill or your food or what. Every dollar you are saving has a job as well.
It's a little bit of the frustration of when you're investing just in general. And what do? We call it, we're saving for retirement.
Yeah. What does that even mean?
What does retirement even mean? And, we started saying a few years ago around here, retirement's not a number. It's not a number. It's not a destination. It's not a thing. So all we're really saying is we want to build some wealth.
Yeah.
But when you don't even have that, it's just very vague. It's like, I just want a big pile of money.
Yeah.
It's not motivating.
Nope.
But if you say, I want to build a hospital for children, and that's going to cost $40 million. Maybe $40 million. Now you got something you're aiming at, right?
Now we can go get it.
Yeah, then you can go get it. You got a reason for doing this. It changes everything. Very cool stuff.
People, they think the cure and the fix for the problem is, well, give me more money, I'm gonna be all right. Well, the more you make, the more you spend.
Right.
If you have no discipline and no structure.
Yes, absolutely.
Every time.
Yes.
Every time. Well, just give me more and more. No, the more you get, the more you're gonna spend. And people ain't gonna listen because we are caught up in looking a certain way, living a certain way, trying to appease others who don't really care nothing about you, just to say, oh, I got it.
Wow.
I got it too, and I had it for almost 30 years. I done saved, 83% of my salary. I don't need validation from nobody on the outside. That's another downfall. In society, we always need validation and acceptance from others. Don't try to live a lifestyle that you know you can't afford.
Right.
You can't do that.
All right, so you got a pro football player. It said in the copy there, he flew Spirit Airlines instead of chartering a jet. This guy made millions and millions and millions.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of flying Southwest, I'm flying Spirit. Right. Fake jewelry, the whole thing. Because he's like, man, I don't have to prove myself to everybody.
I love it. I love it. I've been guilty of that. I've been guilty of being in situations where I feel like I have to prove like I belong here. Mm-hmm. And the way to prove I belong is by, having the same bag she has, having the same shoes they have. And if you do that, it's like a status thing, but it's so deeply rooted in insecurity. It really is. Like, that's not, and I heard him say on another part of the interview too, like, that's not what gives you your worth. Huh. Like, what you can buy, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So I love that. It makes me think of that scripture. One person pretends to be rich yet has nothing. And another pretends to be poor but has great wealth. I mean, what do you want to do? You want to be fake rich or real rich? You know what I'm saying? And I like what he said.
This show is a lot about like exact ratios and what's the exact percentage before I do this and the ratio before I do this and this.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to get caught up in the numbers here, but saving 80% of his income.
Yes, he's extreme.
But he's also making millions and millions.
Yeah.
And I have been guilty of he was exactly right.
Yeah.
I've spent my entire career thinking, well, if I just made some more money, then fill in the blank. And what ends up happening is my house has gotten a little bit bigger, my car's gotten a little bit nicer, and I realized a few jobs ago, this just never stops until I stop it. I got to get off the train.
The goalpost keeps moving
every single time.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I see what you did there.
I'm sorry.
Well played. So don't try to live a lifestyle you can afford.
Yeah.
Here's the hard truth of this. It's easy to look at Ocho Cinco and say, okay, he's worth millions and millions. So what we are saying, and I'll say, you can join me or not, if you make $65,000 as a teacher, you've chosen a Corolla life. And that is, okay, you've chosen a Camry life until you can, like, what is it, the third job that's a millionaire, right? There's engineers and something else and teachers, right?
That's right.
On the list. So you can get there.
Absolutely.
But you don't get to decide, well, I want to have an $80,000 Suburban, which is used, by the way.
Right.
When your take-home salary is $65,000. Like, we have to live relative to the job we make instead of trying to live a lifestyle that we can't afford.
I mean, I definitely think, for him, saving 83% of his income looks totally different than, like you said, a teacher, somebody who's making an average salary. Right. It's not the same. I mean, I don't save 83% of my income. Are you kidding me?
I don't either. Yeah.
I'd be wearing a cardboard box right now. So...
Well, and I know there's teachers across the country that just rolled their eyes when I said 65,000. Like, I don't know what teachers making that.
Not that.
Yeah, but it's when you. Let me just say it this way. Stop trying to pretend to live somebody else's life. If you've made the choice to have job X or job Y, or it's the only job you can get, that's fantastic. And be so proud of yourself. Be grateful of the contribution you're making, and live that lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've got to, it points to contentment. Mm-hmm. And again, I feel like we do have to highlight the ratios because it's a lot easier for him to, quote, it's easy to say, oh, it's easy for him to live on 20%. He's got millions. But to his point, the like we said, the goalpost is always moving, and it's interesting because you're always comparing yourself to what's around you. Like I was watching something, I think it was Kevin Hart, and he was talking about, you know, if you're on a basketball team or a football team, you're hanging out with those guys. They're not all making the same money.
That's right.
Like, it's a difference between if you're like first string and if you're like, I don't know, like the sixth man or like over on the sidelines. And we're talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars difference in pay.
Right.
So it's like, hey, after the game, we're all going out.
Yep.
Really? Like, you're not doing what the quarterback's doing. And it's the same thing in our own life. If I go out with a bunch of folks, it's easy to think, hey, we're all here. Mm-hmm. We can all afford the same things. Yep. And you can't.
That's right.
I mean, how many times you go to dinner with people and it's like, well, they ordered the steak, I guess. Well, maybe I'll order it too. Like, and you start changing your behavior based on who you're around. You go to work, you start looking at the cars in the parking lot. Oh, well, maybe I need that too. And you start comparing yourself, but you don't know. You don't know their life. You only know your life, and you're the one that's got to sleep at night.
That's exactly right. And we often don't understand that somebody's mom passed away and left them a bunch of money.
Okay.
Or somebody's granddad passed away and left them a house, or somebody else is struggling, and that's why they drive that car, because they don't care about this dumb depreciating asset on wheels. They're more interested in saving up college funds. We just make all sorts of stories up about our people in the parking lot next to us.
Yeah.
Stop.
And I just...
Live your life. All right, let's go to the second one. He has a part 2 to this. Roll it, James.
But everybody's caught up in image and looking a certain way and being rich. It's me. It's pointless. You know how hard it is to live like that all the time, consistently, and be fly every day? Yeah. Jewelry and listen, eras of rappers. Think about the era before us.
Right.
Everybody was flashy, stunned. And after 10 years, what happens?
They ain't flashy, they ain't stunned.
No, you can't. It's impossible to sustain. Right. It's impossible.
I love that he's talking about athletic culture, hip hop culture, because 78% of athletes are losing their wealth within 3 years. Yeah. And it's because of the culture. More bags, Gucci belts, bottle service, Maseratis, like Bentleys, like this is the culture. I'm so glad that somebody's talking about that, telling us that it's not necessary. This is not what's giving us our wealth. Rappers are not the people who tell us how we have to dress, John. Jay-Z don't tell you what car you have to drive, okay, John?
He does. When he texted me the other day and told me I should get some new clothes, and so.
Candace is with us. Hey, Candace, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good to have you. Where do you live?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Awesome.
Nice.
And all the way here to do a debt-free scream.
Yep.
How much did you pay off?
$234,000.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh! How long did this take?
31 months.
Look at you. I love it. And your range of income during that time?
$74,000 to $275,000.
What?
Oh, what do you do for a living?
I'm a nurse practitioner.
So you went to travel nursing, huh?
I did not. I stayed as a nurse practitioner full-time, and then I worked in the hospital as a nurse full-time as well. And then I had another part-time MP job.
So you were doing 80, 90 hours a week?
96.
Oh,
to be
my
precise.
gosh, Candace. Okay.
You're a beast, girl. I love it. Wow.
I want to know your schedule. What did a typical day, because you worked every day during the week.
Yep. So I did 9 hours on Monday, Tuesday. After Monday and Tuesday, I worked at my third job on Mondays. Tuesday, I did 4 hours in my second job. Wednesdays, I do 9 hours. I take a 2-hour nap. Then I go to the hospital for 12 hours.
Oh my
then I take a nap, and then I do 6 hours on Thursdays. Fridays, 9 or 10 hours. Nap, 12 hours. 12 to 16 hours on Saturday.
How long did you do this?
96 hours. I did that for the last probably 9 months, and then 80 hours before that.
For that.
Mhm.
What are you down to now that you're free?
I'm still working a lot, but I'm throwing in vacations with it.
You kind of got the rhythm now.
Yep.
Okay, what kind of debt was the $234,000? This must be all the school debt, huh?
It was $114,000 in school loans, $30,000 in one car, and $16,000 in another car, $10,000 in taxes, $30,000 in credit cards, and $65,000 on a mortgage.
You paid off your house.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay, no, wait a minute. You're single. Why do you have 2 cars?
Because I drove a convertible.
Oh, now I understand.
And in Indianapolis, it snows and it's icy.
She had 2 cars.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
You are
and
so
you kept them. You kept them and paid them off.
But I have both. Yeah.
Look at
Okay,
you.
so what happened? What happened months ago that just made you say
31 months
31 months ago that
Because
said
you went crazy.
I
here.
mean, man.
This is awesome.
I guess about 4 or 5 years ago, I bought Dave Ramsey's the Debt Free Makeover. And I put it to the side because I was in school and I couldn't focus. And then when I graduated with my master's degree, about a month after I spent all my credit card money, used up my credit cards, and you realizing that all my money was going to credit card debt, car loans, I picked up the book and I read it in 2 days, and it was just life transforming for me from there.
Wow.
So I started budgeting. I was Davish initially, and then the end of 2020, I kind of put the gas on. I went gazelle intense. Kind of was disappointed at myself because I did a lot of traveling, trying to pay everything off, and I realized where I could have been. So 2021 January until September, when I paid my school loans off, I pretty much did 80 hours, and then the last 3 months of paying my school loans off, I did 96, and then I kind of kept going and then finished my mortgage off in March.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
You are amazing. You're a machine. This is so good. Was it worth all that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How you feel?
I feel free. So that's probably the best term that I can use. I feel free.
Yeah. A bit overwhelmed before, weren't you?
Absolutely. Overwhelmed, discouraged. So
Scared. Yeah.
So tell me this, Candace, because there's probably people listening that could be in a very similar situation of what you were 32 months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're thinking, but there's no way I can do this. There's no way. I mean, this is going to be my life. What would you say to people that think that way, that it's just impossible? They've lost all hope. What would you say?
I would say just keep pushing, set a goal, stick to it, realize that the plan can change a million times like mine did, but the goal never changed.
Yeah.
My goal was to become debt free, and I'm debt free.
Just eye on the prize.
Yes.
I love it.
Wow. So, where did you learn to work like that?
My mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
she was a worker.
Your mom's a wild animal, huh?
Yep.
She's a worker.
Single mom of 4. She worked
Oh, yeah. Working
2
all the time.
jobs, always doing overtime. So I've always had good work ethic.
Yeah. So if I want something, I go work for it.
Basically,
That's the word.
it. That's it. No other way.
Don't sell that convertible. You just
I won't.
work. I'm going to just go work extra hours. Straight up. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what were people saying during this journey? Because I mean,
people had to be looking.
I mean,
at you
we do this for a living, and we're still just like, wait, what?
This
You work
is
96
amazing,
hours a
yeah.
week? Yeah. What was everyone saying?
A lot of people were inspired. A lot of
Yeah.
people that I work with, because of course I spent a lot of time with them, and my friends, of course. I didn't really share my journey with everybody until I got down to my last 3 months of paying my school loans off, and my friends were talking about it to people, so they were inspired. They're like, you should share it. So I started posting, and then I did the rings, paying the last $50,000 of my school loans. So a lot of people were in tune with that. So it was really, really inspiring for me and for them. So it was really, really nice. Yeah. They were definitely inspired. A lot of people were discouraged because they're like, oh, I don't make that much. Well, you don't have $234,000 in debt either.
And you don't work 96 hours a week either.
Exactly.
So there you go. Wow. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Just being consistent, always knowing that you have to sacrifice, learning the aspect of delayed gratification. You know, everything we want, we usually want it now, and knowing that sometimes it just takes time. You know, even with wanting a new car, save up the money, wait, and then, you can get your car or whatever it is that you want. Just the delayed gratification and getting away from instant gratification was probably the biggest key for me.
How old are you?
31.
Your mama's got to be looking at you with tears running down her face and
She's
proud.
watching.
And really, really proud.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Well done. It's pretty incredible. You're an incredible young woman.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, you don't have to work like this your whole life. She just did it for a short period of time.
Yep.
To hit a goal. And but she knows she can. And you really can't work like that for 5 years in a row. You can't. Your body can't stand it. Your emotions can't stand it. But for a short period of time, you can turn it on.
Yep. And
really, for just under a year, you've been going like a maniac.
Yep.
And now you're free. Completely free. I figured you went the way the numbers jumped. I figured you went travel nursing. That's why I jumped on that. But instead, you just took a bazillion hours.
Picked up another full-time job.
Yeah, and there's 2 full-time jobs and then a part-time job. Yeah, and it's all around nursing.
Yeah.
And always a need, isn't there, for
Absolutely.
nurses? Always a shortage. Yeah, great career path. So proud of you. Wow, you're amazing.
Congratulations.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely. We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. That is the next chapter in your story for sure, without a doubt. How ordinary people built extraordinary wealth and how you can too. The daughter of a single mom raising 4 kids learned how to work by watching her mama.
Yep.
Her mama, as you say, Rachel, more is caught than taught.
Yep, she saw
it. And
knew
here
she
comes.
could and had the confidence. I mean, there's a confidence that you have that you're like, I can do this. I can do this.
She's
even afterwards, more
she's
confidence.
A victor. She's
Yes,
not a victim.
yes,
Yeah,
that's
she's
right.
Not a victim. She's a victor.
It's amazing.
Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Beautiful stuff.
You just changed your life.
Yes.
Copy a Total Money Makeover for you to give away to somebody, and maybe you can get them started and stir up a ruckus like you did.
I have.
You are something else. You are something else. You are amazing. All right, Candace from Indianapolis, $234,000 paid off in 31 months. She did it in 2.5 years, 96 hours a week for the last 9 months. House and everything, and she's 31 years old, 2 cars, single, 100% debt-free. Wow! Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
1, 2, 3. I'm debt free!
We'll start off with Myra in Lubbock, Texas. Myra, welcome to the show.
Hello, Rachel. Hello, Dave. I love your show, by the way, Rachel.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Quick backstory before my question is I started working part-time at a advisor's office, and it's been great. The person that was full-time was off for medical leave, and she got better, and now she's doing part-time. And so we're working together and things like that. But prior to that, there was other people helping in the office that were just interns. And so from the beginning, I was having to pick up from where they left off to what they knew. And because she had to leave unexpectedly to do her medical leave. And so point is, I just picked up where everybody left off, and I was doing my best, trying my best and things like that. But now that she's come back, it's been very difficult because she could be very aggressive with her words, and she doesn't use the tone of voice that she uses with me. She changes her tone of voice when the financial advisor is not around, and she said things to me in the past like, I'm the full-time, don't touch my things on my desk. And it's just little petty things, like I don't want your lotion on my desk. Don't move my paper clips and things like that. And my question is, how do I go on if I feel that it takes so much energy? Because when I'm in the office, I'm always trying to not do something that's going to tick her off, or she's going to be passive aggressive again, or she's going to be rude to me.
Yeah.
There is occasions when we work together.
Sure.
And it's just so draining.
Sure, absolutely. So Myra, why did she leave in the first place? What you said, medical leave?
Yeah. So her cancer came back, and thankfully she was able to take care of it. And now her doctor is asking her to not be full time so that she can, slowly back into it.
Yeah.
She is older, and she has no filter and things like that, which I'm young and I am not
Have
as
you,
good
Myra,
as I wish I was.
Myra, have you confronted her at all? Have you sat down and confronts? That's kind of a strong word, but have you asked questions to her of, hey, do you realize kind of how you're coming off? Is everything okay? How are you doing? Because we find here, at Ramsey, we have almost 1,200 team members. So working on interpersonal relationship is something I feel like we do on a daily basis, and usually you find that people who are hurting can tend to hurt people, right? That saying, hurt people, hurt people. So there's a part of me thinks that there's probably a level of her that's stressed, freaked out, fearful of her own story and kind of what's going on, and it's coming out on you, which is not okay. But have you talked to her about it at all?
I have not said it the way you said it, and I think the way you're asking me to approach it makes sense. I have talked to the FA and I have told him the situation, and he's told me, she's really hard to work with, and other people have told me, just she's a little territorial and things like that, and so it never gave me the impression that she was acting this way because of the current situation. It's giving me more the impression that that's just the way she is. And
this lady, Myra, this lady's scared, and she's been scared a long time. And all this crap is to cover over her fear. She's afraid for her job. She's afraid for her health. She sees you as a threat. And so the good news is you're just a sweet lady. And I think if you'll just look at her as someone who's scared, kind of put a little different picture when you see her instead of the big old mean lady that's rough and tough and hard to work with. Instead, look at her as a little child who's afraid. And how would you treat someone that was afraid? With pity and with kindness, and you'd help them, and how can I serve you? What can I do for you? And she'll calm down eventually. And if she doesn't, it's just a part-time job. Go get another one. It's not worth working with jerks. That's the other thing. So, leave. It ain't that big a deal. But in other words, don't let yourself be subjected to a toxic situation because you refuse to walk out the door on a part-time job. So just say, sayonara, out of here, baby. Done. But if you want to try to work on the personal idea of it, which is why you called, I think you just treat her with unbelievable levels of kindness, and just because I'll guarantee you this lady's really afraid. She's afraid for her job. She thinks they're gonna kick her out because she was hard to work with before, and then she had a cancer problem, so she's unreliable. And she's afraid they're gonna put her on the street, and you're gonna take her job if you look too good. So, how can I help you? You've been through so much. Man, I just want to support you. You're kind of a legend around here, because she is.
Legend maybe not the way you want to be a legend, but she's kind of a legend.
It's a true statement nonetheless.
But I wonder too, even after, how the workplace has changed so much since COVID, dealing with people now via technology, there's not that in-person connection as much anymore within companies. Obviously, Myra, it sounds like it is for you. But you talk about this a lot in Entree Leadership, though, of how to deal with these situations, that it's not going around, obviously, and talking and bashing her to other people. So the fact you went up, Myra, was good to your leader, I think was a smart move. But also to have the ability to sit down with someone that you work with, especially if it's for a long period of time, you guys have history, and it sounds like you guys are pretty hand in hand with what you do. Getting that, it is key, because it's exhausting. Like if you go to work and you don't like the person you're with all the time, that's a reason to dread work. So it's a reason to even think about.
I would give it a couple of weeks of just killing her with kindness, and if you can't get anywhere, and if you continue to have just an abusive situation, I would just go leave. Just go get another job. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And you talk to leadership, and their answer was a lame-o, horrible answer from leadership. Well, she's always kind of been that way, which means we're scared of her too. Oh my God, So we don't have anybody like that I answer that about. You get to work somewhere else if you're going to be a bud around here.
It's true.
We don't do that. But you can have a bad day, you can have a bad week, but you don't get to just have the reputation of being
hard to work with.
The grouch. That's silly. Ann is with us in Oklahoma City. Hi, Ann. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Thank you for all you do.
Well, thank you. How can we help today?
Yeah, I want to give you a scenario, and my question will be, how should I best spend almost $200,000 in inheritance that I'm about to receive, and best help my retirement and not be a burden to my children one day, and also be able to retire well. Here's my scenario. I'll soon be 60 years old. I was divorced in early 2021 after many years of marriage. My net worth is approximately $600,000, excluding the $200,000 inheritance. I have no debt. Out of that 600, only about 34 of that is in retirement savings account. The rest is in rental properties and a small business that I own. I have a fully funded emergency fund. My yearly bring home pay is approximately $96,000. $5,000 of that comes from the business each month, and $3,100 comes from part of my teacher's retirement and rental property income. I've been renting for a little over 2 years, and I've never had my own home. I would love to have a condo or a small home. And I was wondering, with the inheritance money, should I try to buy a small condo or home with cash, and if there's anything left over, invested in mutual funds? Or should I forego buying and just put all of that $200 in mutual funds and let it grow? Interest and all. My concern there is, if prices keep rising, will I ever be able to afford my own little place? Or do you have a different scenario you might recommend?
Well, you are really on top of this. You have done a great job of knowing where you are, and that tells me you really have probably a pretty good plan of where you're going. How much longer do you plan to work?
Well, at least till probably 65. I mean, I would love to retire at 65, but I don't know if that's realistic. 65, 67 is possible. I'm
what kind of business do you own?
It's a little clothing business boutique.
Okay, all right.
Is it brick and mortar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as long as it remains viable, I'd probably continue to run it as long as you want to. And what I would do is begin to get more and more management involved, so you have more and more time off as you go past 67. But there's no reason it can't continue to produce an income for you up into your 70s.
Okay.
You could sell it at some point if you wanted to just quit. But my guess is what you're doing is not that physically straining, and you don't sound like you're stressed out by it.
No.
Okay.
No.
So I think I'm going to continue to operate as long as I can. There's no rule that says you have to quit working at any point, especially if you enjoy what you're doing. And I got a feeling, with all you've been through, that it probably is a bit of an escape area, an area you can go that you can control the variables, a safe place.
Yes, it's a wonderful place.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful to be there.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like your idea of buying something small and putting the rest in mutual funds, buying something that you can live in for cash and not having any payments. And
are any of these rental properties a nuisance to you? Would you ever want to get rid of one?
No, actually, they cash flow each month. I mean, that's basically how I'm living. I'm trying to keep my personal income separate from my business income. And so, no, I don't want to get rid of them right now.
Good.
I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous. What was your question?
No, that was it.
I just wanted to know about the rental properties, just see what the options are. But I'm with Dave. I'm trying to find somewhere like I can pay with cash. And that's going to reduce your expenses, which means you can live off a whole lot less, even in your retirement.
Yeah.
So that's the goal.
And invest what would have been a rental payment or a house payment. Now, here's the reason to do that. Okay, when you buy a piece of property with 100% down, obviously in this case, for your retirement years, you're 60. Mathematically, there's a very high likelihood you live until 90.
Right.
Average death age of a female in America is 76, but that includes infant mortality and teenage death. And so once you're a healthy 60-year-old, 90 is a high probability, statistically speaking, okay? Now, obviously none of us ever know exactly. We don't get to decide all that. But anyway, so now if that means you got 30 years from today, give or take, that you are going to pay increased rent payments every year for 30 years. It's going to go up every
Yeah.
year. Or you're going to take your largest expense item in your budget, which is housing, and make it stabilize or go away.
Right.
And the asset is going up in value. So
Yeah.
you stabilize the largest payment you have. In your case, you're going to make it at zero. But even if you took out a house payment, in your case, you would stabilize and at least, you'd have the same payment throughout the rest of your life.
Right.
And versus rent going up every year. And the house is going up in value every year. So that's
Right.
two major reasons. But it adds a huge level of peace and stability to be a homeowner as you head into retirement, particularly if the home's paid for. So I'm all in with you spending, the vast majority of this $200 to do that and putting the rest in mutual funds, then commit what was your old rent payment out of your income, at least, if not more, into additional investing ongoing, and let's build that nest egg up.
Yeah, I love this plan. And if you have tax-advantaged retirement accounts, you can do that with. I know she's a small business owner, so she
Lots
may
of stuff she can
have
do.
some self-employed, solo 401k or SEP IRAs and things of that nature.
Yeah, you can do SEP IRAs, you can do solo 401s, that's exactly right, and do a Roth, and do all of it, and put it all in mutual funds, and just see how rich you can become in the next 10 years. I'll bet you could have $1.5 million in 10 years in mutual funds. I'll bet you could get there
Not a bad
without a single
retirement.
house payment in the world making $100,000 a year. I'll bet you it could be done. And have a decent life while you're doing it.
And those rentals will go up in value over time as well.
And those rents coming to you, not going to someone else.
I like this plan.
This is going up. So just like your investments go up, that is an investment. And those rental values will go up as well.
Today's question comes from Ian in Florida, asking for advice regarding retirement contributions. I'm 27. My wife is 26. She's a recent stay-at-home mom. She has about $35,000 in a Roth IRA. I have about $40,000 in a Roth IRA and $60,000 in a Roth 401k. We both max out our Roth IRAs each year, but I also contribute 10% of my income in a Roth 401k at work, about 15% total income going into my retirement accounts. My question is, should we be contributing more in a traditional IRA in her name and less in my name? Obviously, the retirement is mostly now going to be in my name and not hers, and I feel somewhat weird about this, even though we are good financial partners. What are your thoughts? No, I wouldn't feel weird about that. If most of it's going into your name. I mean, as long as you guys are investing 15% of your total income, I don't really care where it goes. It's just the importance of putting that money away for the future. So, Ian, if it leans more into your investments versus hers, I mean, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, total of 15% of your household income should be going at baby step 4, not more. It sounds like you're doing more. It sounds like you're doing 15%.
Like there's a lot of these. Yeah.
It sounds like you're doing 15% plus a Roth for your wife. It sounds like. If you're going to do a Roth, if you're going to do an IRA for your wife, you can do that as a spousal IRA, and that's fine, into good mutual funds. And if you got good 401k Roth and a match at your place, you can do that. But the total of all of this mix should be no more than 15%. Rachel's right. Your concern about it being in one name or the other is irrelevant. In the event of death, you've got a beneficiary on it, and it's her. It all goes to her. In the event of divorce, the judge is going to take half of it and give it to her. So there's no downside for her. It doesn't matter whose name it's in because she's protected either way, so to speak. I've heard people saying, well, you should always, keep your finances separate and you ought to have your own retirement account in case of divorce. Well, in case of divorce in any state in the United States, they will take half your freaking 401k and give it to the other spouse. It's part of the deal. It's part of the property settlement, okay? So it's not protected from that. So you can't do that. So it won't work. All of our retirement, not all, but 96% of my retirement is in my name. Mm-hmm. Because your mom has been a stay-at-home mom since Denise was born 30 some odd years ago, almost 40 years ago now.
Yeah.
And so and consequently, I've been every year. But I mean, we do a Roth IRA every year, but I load the 401k in my name too. So when you add it all up, it's mostly in my name. But Sharon's not the least bit worried about that.
Sharon.
She's
a good woman.
Would not occur to her to be worried about that. She assumes she could take it from me at any time she wants, and she's correct. Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
So I've gotten myself into a situation where I have a couple $100,000 in credit card debt and loans that I've let go delinquent. And my question is, do I let it sit there and fall off my credit report? My research showed maybe it falls off in 7 years, or do I attack it? And the reason I ask that is we're kind of attacking my wife's debt and my truck payment, and those debts are about $100,000, and we're using the Snowball method, starting that now, to attack those debts, and I just cannot afford to pay these other debts. And part of my question may have been
what
answered.
The flip did you buy for $200,000 on credit cards?
A lot of stupid decisions and some bad luck. Just living the good life. And
how old are
you? 52, and my wife is 52. It's our second marriage.
What's your household income?
She is a nurse, so she brings home, takes home $7,500 a month, and right now, unfortunately, I'm in between jobs, laid off, and so I'm driving Uber, and I probably make $4,000 a month doing that. But
what were you making at your old job?
On average, it fluctuated since we've been together the past 5 years. I'd say on average, $85,000. We bought a house in January of 2021, and
how the heck did you get a house?
Well, I didn't. I had great credit before all this, so I had outstanding credit my whole life. I had an 800 credit score, and wasn't delinquent on anything. So I bought the house. When we got into the house, it was a new build. The payment was around $3,000, and then we got hit with the fact that the first year it was assessed on land value, so it shot up, and then we got county appraisal went up the first year before we were protected by homestead 60%. We appealed it, and like all our neighbors, and lost. So the house payment shot up from $3,000 to about $4,200. Since then, it's appreciated quite a bit. So we removed the PMI and got it down where it's about $3,500 right now.
Now, what's it worth?
That's the only good decision we made. We owe $432, and it's worth on the low end probably $625 or $650.
Cool. And you have $200,000 in credit card debt and miscellaneous loans, and then you have $100,000 on cars?
No, that's like my wife's card. Some of my wife's credit cards and loans before we got married, and
how much is your wife's car debt?
She, no car debt for her.
Oh, how much is your car debt?
Cards. That's the first stupid decision I made.
How much is your car debt?
$42,000.
Okay. All
yeah.
Right. So, you're not gonna like me, but I'm gonna tell you the truth because I love you.
Okay, that's what I want to hear.
Sell the car and sell the house.
Yeah. Well, the car's
told you, didn't
down. Yeah.
You're not gonna do either one, are you?
No, we are have discussed that, but
yeah, you need to clean house because you got $200,000 in equity and you got a car that's absolutely stupid in the middle of this. You bought a house that was stupid in the middle of all this. The only thing that's good is it went up in value, and then you're telling me how you can't afford it. So yeah, I'm going to get your career back on the rails, and I'm going to pay off all my debt by selling the house and selling the car. And, whoa, look at that. You're going to be renting something and you'll be debt-free. And now you start from ground zero instead of subterranean. You have a negative net worth that's substantial right now. And you need to get back right side up on that. This is killing you. And no, it's not going to go away, by the way, in 7 years. Because the rule on the credit reporting is not the legal obligation. It's just how long do they report it. The legal obligation does not go away, and they can still sue your butt at the 10-year mark. They can sue your butt at the 15-year mark, and they will. Okay? So this is not going away by just not dealing with it, putting your hands over your ears and going la, 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 and walking through in the midst of the bears and the tigers. They're going to eat your butt. So, yeah, it might fall off of your credit bureau, but it is from date of last activity, not date of default and not date of anything else. So this is not going away until you fix it, Greg. So the way you fix it is you sell the car, you sell the house, you get your job back, you get to making $85,000. She's making over 120. And you put that together, you got a $210,000 income. You can rebuild, save up a good down payment with zero debt, and buy a cash car with zero debt, and then save up a good down payment on a house and get you a nice home that you can actually afford. But right now, your life is not good. I mean, you're even talking in circles. You have so much stress.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard the mindset of, oh, well, and I'm just going to close my mind off to all this other stuff over here and only focus on a little bit. And what's happening here is, I'm not knocking him at all, but there is this defeatist attitude,
I'm
fatalistic.
stuck and I can't get out.
That's right.
And you're not stuck.
Which is why, by the way, he's staying in the Uber car a little bit too long. I'm not against Uber. Let me say this, and I've talked to so many people. I feel like this is becoming more and more of a thing because it's an easy thing as far as stepping from being laid off or fired into something, and I'm all for that. However, if you're not careful, you get in that car and you're picking people up and you're staying busy and you kind of go, well, this is the best I can do right now, and you got to treat those temporary jobs as just that, temporary. You are getting after it to try to replace that income, not settling for a 50% cut and just reasoning it away. And that's the reality. I don't mean to be unkind. It's not a mean spirit I'm saying that. It's just I know how the brain works, Dave, and activity starts to replace intentionality. And there's a big difference between activity and intentionality. In other words, someone tells me, well, Ken, I submitted 200 resumes today. That's a bunch of activity, but that's not intentionality. You didn't go see somebody. You didn't go have coffee with somebody. And so that's what we got to be careful of, is not replace intentionality with activity.
Yeah, I want the temporary job to be something I hate.
Absolutely.
So that it's temporary.
Right.
Because I don't ever want to go back. I don't ever want to live like that again. I don't ever want to have to do that. I don't ever want to have to pay that price to pay my bills.
That's a great point, because it's kind of nice rolling around in your car, listening to your podcast, picking people up. That's
Hey, I was going to say, you're kind of messing with our audience here because, I mean, this is who you think's listening to you, man. You just told a whole bunch of people not to do that. But seriously, yeah, it's,
activity and intentionality, there's a difference.
Yeah, if you take 3 part-time jobs to replace your old full-time job, they should all make you want to go get your old full-time job back.
That's right.
Or something better, but not something worse. You don't want to be doing that at 52 and then look up at 62 and you're still doing the same thing. So, Greg, you're probably not going to do what I told you to do, but you should. You should sell the car. A $45,000 car, and you're using it for a taxi. Wow. Think about that. Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life. James is on Twitter. Dave, can you help me understand if this new tax bill is going to help or harm the middle class? Well, regardless of your politics, I can tell you this. Think with me. Just use your brain. Pull your brain out of your politics for a second, people. Think with me. Who better handles money for the good of society? Individuals or the government? Companies or the government? Who is the most efficient user of money and thereby better for society? Individuals or the government? Companies or the government? Answer is never the government. Is society better off the less money government extracts from it? Answer, yes. So, regardless of the technical, tactical breakdowns of whether you personally will see a $942 change in your tax bill next year, 96% will, or whatever these analyses are you see coming out everywhere, It appears most everybody's going to get a little bit back, a little bit different. Some more than others, and a lot of people don't even pay taxes. You know that, right? Like 50% of the people in the United States don't pay any federal income tax. So you need to keep that in mind. I mean, it's like bizarre if you think about it. So it's nuts. Yeah. If you make a certain income, you get money from the government. You don't give money to the government. An unearned income tax credit. I mean, you get taxes back and you didn't pay any in, or more back than you paid in. One of the two. You get money out. I mean, your net effect is you get money out. You don't put money in. For most people, that's half the people listening, or half the people in the world, in the U.S., that's what it is. So if you want to call a portion of those middle class, they're not even going to change, except that the culture is always better off. The community is always better off. The nation is always better off when it has less taxes extracted from it. Now, some of you do not believe that the money will result in someone doing something with it in the marketplace, that everybody's just going to, that the rich just take their money and nobody benefits. Well, it is their money, by the way, but aside from that private property issue, I'm wealthy. If I have more money, do you know what I do? You think I just put it all in the bank somewhere or hide it under my mattress? I mean, what do? Well, I buy stuff with it. And when I buy something with it, whoever made that thing gets paid. Whoever sells that thing gets paid. Whoever owns the store where that thing is sold gets paid. And then when they get money, so if I go across the street to a restaurant and I spend money, the server gets money, the cook gets money, the restaurant owner gets money. The restaurant manager gets money. The janitor that sweeps up the floor at the restaurant gets money. Because I'm a customer, it's more likely to continue, and there's more money going over there. So if they have more money, what do? Oh, they spend it. And where do they spend it? Oh, down at the hardware store. If the guy at the hardware store has more money because I spent money at the restaurant, and then the restaurant spends money at the hardware store, this is called monetary policy, for those of you that are uninitiated. It is called the flow of money. It's why we call money currency. You ever heard this called currency? Because it flows. It has a current to it. It is not a dead-end river. And money is not finite. There's not a fixed pie. Meaning if I get more, it means someone else got less. That's someone. Money's not like a pie. It's more like candles, Rabbi Lapin says. If I light your candle off of my candle, now we have two candles that are lit. That's how money works. It doesn't work where if I light your candle, then mine goes out. That's not how it works. So, all of that to say, you can call it trickle-down economics. You can scream and flop your liberal self around on the floor if you want. Doesn't work. The rich just keep getting richer. Wealth inequality. Well, there's never been a culture in the history of the world. You can find no historical evidence anywhere that says that by extracting money from one class, that the other class prospers. It's called socialism economically at its core, and socialism doesn't work. It's a failed experiment. Communism is more of a failed experiment. And so if you believe in communism and socialism, then that's an economic form of government, but it has a bad track record. And so it has to do with equalizing the inequality of wealth, except for the people who are running the place. And there's always the aristocracy that, even in a liberal mentality, the aristocracy ends up very, very rich. And so there's always this wealth inequality, even in a pure communistic setting. It's like everybody's going to be equal except for the bunch that put it together, So that's really how it works. So be thinking about that. So the bottom line is, does the middle class, is it going to help or harm the middle class? The new tax bill. Well, the new tax bill in general puts more money into the economy and less money to the government. Anytime that happens, it's a good day. It's that much less money that they have to poorly manage, was that kind. Horribly manage. That much less money that they have to mess with. and screw up and buy $25,000 hammers and $32,000 toilet seats. Yeah, you know the stories, and you've seen it too. So the less money that we send up there to be inefficiently used is better for everyone. Everyone. As a general macro statement. Now, individually, you can dissect the actual law itself and figure out who's going to get what tax cut, and then you can try to make some suppositions as to what might happen with that. But, the question is, does the economy grow more when government extracts money from the economy and increase taxes, or does the economy grow more when the government releases money into the economy instead of extracting it? It's kind of common sense. You don't have to be an economic genius to figure this out. And it does work. It does work. Now, government has some things it does, but it doesn't do anything efficiently. But it has some things it does that only it can do. But this idea that poor people are helped by government programs is a joke. I mean, really? Seriously? I mean, look, it's very, very inefficient. The millions of dollars it takes to get $1 to a poor person is amazing. And so, overall, it's going to help the middle class. It's going to help the lower class because it's going to help society. It's going to help the upper class, too. And by the way, that's okay. It's okay. These people didn't rob anybody. They didn't steal anything. They just did more work and sold more stuff than you did. So they've got more than you got. That's how it works. Bill Gates has got more than I got. He sold more stuff than I have. He's helped more people than I have. So don't be mad at Bill Gates. He didn't do anything wrong. At least not for becoming wealthy. You don't want to be mad at him. He just sold a bunch of computers. Like a whole bunch of them. Like changed the world. Don't be mad. Don't be mad at him. Rich people are not evil people. They just serve at a different level. Now, there's a few of them are evil, but there's a few poor people who are evil too. And a few of you are too stupid to be believed. You got your head stuck so far up your politics, you quit thinking about these things clearly. Yeah, it's a disease that's out there. So that's the answer. It's kind of a philosophical economic answer rather than a specific technical one. Can you help me understand if this new tax bill is going to help or harm the middle class? Think I sufficiently described it? It's going to help everyone. Lower taxes always does. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
Biden and the Democrats want to raise the debt ceiling, and McCarthy and Republicans don't want to do it. We're not going to talk about the politics of it.
We're going to talk about how you could be affected.
If that happens, is that something that we just kind of don't feel, George? How will raising the debt limit, which is at all-time highs, how will that affect those that are listening and watching?
Well, this is the idea. If the U.S. defaulted on its debts, meaning it can't pay the carried interest, that could cause chaos. Now, it's never happened, and so the idea here...
Doesn't mean it won't.
It doesn't mean it won't. The chances of them raising the debt ceiling... probably pretty high because they keep doing it every year. They just keep raising the credit limit even though we're
this
broke.
is a showdown. This is a negotiation.
Absolutely. So if you're confused as to what this all amounts to, the debt ceiling is the amount the U.S. government can borrow to honor its spending obligations. And here's how it affects you. So, by the way, the debt ceiling limit was $31.4 trillion, and we reached it. So, reach for the stars, Ken. At least we hit a goal there. Yeah. That's sad. And so here's the few ways you could be impacted, America, by the debt ceiling crisis. Number one is the stock market. The stock market does not like uncertainty, and defaulting on our debts would cause the stock market to plunge. Estimates, Chief Economist Mark Zandi said, could plunge by 1/3 and erase $15 trillion in household wealth.
Yeah, that hurts.
That's scary.
Yep.
That could affect a lot of people, affect a lot of your retirement savings. We do not like that. The other thing it could affect is the cost to borrow. And so a default would push interest rates even higher. So the cost to borrow homes, to get that car loan, your credit card interest rates, it would explode. It would cause mayhem. The silver lining there is I hope it stops people from borrowing more money. So there you go. The last thing it could affect is Social Security and Medicare. So the debt limit fight poses several risks to these seniors who are on Social Security, Medicare. And so without a breakthrough in Congress, the government might not be able to send out those monthly benefit checks or pay for Medicare. So,
and let's not forget the overall value of the dollar.
That's
The
true.
dollar has been strong over
It
the
could
last
hurt
year.
the value.
It's already dropped pretty precipitously over the last couple of days, and that again affects overall inflation.
And it'll hurt GDP. It'll hurt our
That's right.
standing
Yeah.
globally.
So it's a complete mess. And I'm just going to put this out there. We're going to get back to the phones, and it could, because you, the people, have the power to get these bums' attention in D.C. because your governor. In most states, they have to balance the budget. Many states, it's a constitutional requirement for the state to to balance its spreadsheet. I get so angry talking about it, I can't talk.
Well,
we don't have a balanced budget amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
And Ken, we're around here. We're very fiscally conservative, and Congress historically.
Wouldn't you love to see Dave Ramsey go to Washington for about 30 days, lock all of them in a room? They only get bathroom breaks and food breaks.
I would pay to watch that on C-SPAN.
And
I would do
Dave takes his good old fashioned budget, the old kitchen table, sits in the middle of the room,
yellow pad,
and he just starts going through it. And he would absolutely balance the budget.
I believe it.
I know he would. I'm not kidding you. I mean, he really could.
Would Dave darken the doors? Of that building? That's the question.
No.
I don't think he has any interest.
He wouldn't last 30 minutes up there, much less 30 days that it would take. But there you go.
Man, I tell you what, I love the holidays. I love Christmas. I love the generosity around Christmas. I love being a grandpa at Christmas. I love being around family at Christmas. I hate being around the calories at Christmas because I take them all in, and now I have to work them off. And I know you didn't do that. But I tell you what, man, this beginning of a new year, I know it's something that's, quote, man-made, meaning that we have a calendar, that we've observed the stars and the rotation of the sun and the moon, and et cetera, and we came up with a calendar, and we get our, we didn't come up with it, but we observed it, but the beginning of a year is it's something it's in our brains. But you know what? It's still a fresh start. You still get a whiteboard. You didn't do everything you wanted to do like you wanted to do it in the last year. You won't do everything perfect this year. You can go ahead and give yourself some grace in advance, but you know what? You ought to try. You ought to try. There's a quote that is attributed loosely to St. Augustine that says, pray like it depends on God, like it all depends on God, and work like it all depends on you. And so, it's time to do both. It's time to make your life better. It's time to make the life of your family better. It's time to make the life of your church better. It's time to make the life of your community better. It's time to make the life of your nation better. And you have something to say about that. You're not a victim. You are not being controlled by outside forces. Some of you are scared to death that Donald Trump is coming into office. Some of you are bouncing off the walls that Donald Trump is coming into office. And truthfully, him coming into office has about 1% to do with what happens to your life, unless you're going to be working for him. You are in charge of your life. And I want you to go win. I want you to sit down tonight, if you haven't already done it, and lay out some detailed goals. Not New Year's resolutions, some detailed goals. And, you need to look at financial goals. You need to look at intellectual goals. How many books are you going to read this year? How many classes are you going to take? Family goals. Are you going to do something different with your family this year? Spiritual goals. So you need to ramp up your church attendance, don't you? Your Bible reading. Physical goals. Some of you need to lose some weight and get in better shape. Some of you want to run a marathon for the first time in your life, a half marathon. Some of you want to do, I don't care, but you need to do this on purpose. It's not, you don't get to the end of your life and say, wow, that accidentally occurred. Most of the things that happen in your life were things you planted in the ground, and they grew a harvest in your life. And if you don't plant anything in your field called your life, you know what grows? Weeds. You become an expert on The Bachelor. You become an expert on who got thrown off the island. You become an expert on everything that Fox News or CNN says, because you don't put anything intentionally in your brain that affects your life going forward. You need career goals. Some of you need to make more money, and that doesn't accidentally occur. Just showing up, some people have 20 years experience, some people have 1 year's experience 20 times. They don't learn anything. They don't get any better. They don't grow in their career. You need some social goals. You need to intentionally decide to engage some folks in your life on a social basis. Friends. My granny always used to say, if you want to have some friends, maybe you ought to be a friend. Your goals, in order for them to work, they need to be 5 things, and you need to write these 5 things down so you'll know that your goals are working. Number 1 and number 2, they need to be specific goals, and they need to be measurable goals. I want to lose some weight this year. You won't. That's measurable, but it's not specific. I want to lose 30 pounds. Good, now we're going somewhere. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose 28 pounds. I don't care what it is. I want to read more books this year. You won't. How many more books do you want to read? Be very specific. It needs to be measurable. It needs to be specific. Your goals need to have a time limit. As soon as you put a time limit on something that you were specific about, then the long division from 6th grade kicks in. I want to read 12 books this year. Oh, instantly you know that's 1 a month, don't you? And that's 1/4 of a book every week, isn't it? Yeah. You know, and you need to write that down. You need to have them in writing. Put your goals in writing. If you don't write it down, it never happened. That's true about contracts, and it's true about goals. A lot of people have goals and New Year's resolutions. They say them. They don't write them down. When you write them down is when they happen. You need to write down, I want to make more money. Great. How much more? This year? And then write it down. And then start taking the steps as to what you're going to do for that to work. So goals that work must be specific. They must be measurable. They must have a time limit. They must be in writing. And they must be your goals. They're not goals I give you. They're not goals your mother gives you. My wife wants me to lose more weight. You won't. Unless you're just a complete wuss. You do everything she tells you to do. And then even then it won't stick. You won't do it. My husband always wanted me to be thinner. Yeah, probably, but that's not going to cause you to be thinner. Think about it. They need to be your goals. You have to want to pay the price to win, and there's always a price to be paid when you're going to win. You have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. You have to reach the point that you say, that's it, I've had it. I'm not living like this anymore. I'm not going to try to fit in these jeans anymore. I'm going to get that weight off. I'm not going to wait around to write my book this year. I'm going to write it. I'm not going to wallow around in this victim mentality anymore. I'm going to spiritually address my life and change my connectivity to God. You have to do it intentionally. It has to be your choice. I can't do it for you. I want you to be out of debt. Some of you, though, I want you to be out of debt more than you want to be out of debt. Why do I want you to be out of debt? It's because then you'll build wealth. Why do I want you to build wealth? Because then you can change your family tree and take care of yourself and bless others with outrageous generosity and have a high-quality life and get to live your dreams and travel and do some of the things that Sharon and I have been blessed to do. I'd like for some of you to get to do that. But you're going to have to be specific and measurable and have a time limit and put it in writing and emotionally own the goal yourself. It has to be your goal. That's how you start your year, people, right there. You can do this. Changes everything when you do. Put it down in writing. Sit down tonight, turn off the stupid television. It's not making you any money. You're watching other people make a good living. It's not helping you get thinner. You're sitting there getting fat watching TV. Seriously, make a decision. What are you going to do? This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show.
Ever done anything really stupid with money? If you have, that makes you over 12. Almost all of us have. My wife Sharon and I started off with nothing when we first got married. Most people do, I think.
And I started buying and selling real estate, and I got rich. By the time I was 26, I was a millionaire, making $250,000 a year. But I had done stupid. I borrowed too much money. Bank got sold to another bank, and some guy in another city looked down and said, there's a kid 26 years old, owes us millions of dollars. Let's limit this relationship, which is banker talk for ruin his life. They called our notes, and we spent the next 2.5 years of our life losing everything we owned. We were sued, we were foreclosed on, and finally we were bankrupt. I do everything backwards. I met God on the way up when I was becoming wealthy. Most people meet him at a point of crisis. I met him on the way up. I got to know him on the way down. So, 28 years old with a brand new baby, a toddler, and a marriage hanging on by a thread, we got the opportunity to start from zero again. Only I had to figure out how money works. Not what your broke brother-in-law's opinion is. How money really works. And so, as a Christian, I decided I would figure out what the Bible has to say about money. And I talked to old rich people. I didn't want to talk to young rich people. I'd been him. I didn't want his opinion. In business, we study successful people in a certain area, and then we emulate or copy what they're doing in order to have the same success they've had. It's called best practices. It's why you hire a personal trainer. They have abs and you have a keg. They know something you don't know. They do something you don't do. And so we learn from someone that knows something we don't know because they've actually done it, not have a theory about it. See, I don't really care what your theories are about money if you're broke. You're just arrogant and stupid. You live in your mother's basement and you write a money blog. Nobody cares what you think. Dave Ramsey doesn't understand the power of credit cards. Oh, my God. Really, after 30 years, you're still writing that stuff? You've got to be kidding me. So we learned how to handle money. And we learned that money really is fairly simple. It's just hard to do. There's only about 4 or 5 things you got to do to win. You have to live on less than you make. You need to live on a plan, a written budget. You need to get out of debt, because when you don't have any payments, you have money. Your most powerful wealth-building tool is your income. You've got to learn to save and invest. And you can't do that when you're in debt, don't have a plan, and don't live on less than you make. You know why people don't put money in their 401k and their Roth IRAs? Because they don't have any money, because it's all going out the door in stupid butt car payments, and Sally Mae's got her own bedroom at your house because she's lived there for so long. This is pretty simple stuff, guys. It may be primitive. It may be easy to understand, but it is very hard to do because it has everything to do with you changing your heart and the way you function and the way you live your life, and you live like no one else so that later you can live and give like no one else, because that's the last one. There's a high correlation in all of our data between people who win with money and those that are generous. Generosity is a key element in people who end up winning with money. And it's pretty simple. It's because generous people are attractive, selfish people aren't. They're ugly. Attractive people seem to get more opportunities in life. Would you agree? We all want to help someone who's attractive. I'm not talking about physically attractive, but they're likable. The person that holds the door for you versus the one that cusses you for doing it. One that helps you pick up your groceries when they're rolling around the parking lot because the bottom fell out of your bag. That's a generous person. They might be a person who gives you some money because you're broke. You don't have money for food, or you're going through a hard time and they help you out. There's a high correlation between generosity and financial success. And it's not that financial success allows people to be generous. It's that generosity causes people to be people that are lovable, likable, more than selfish people. And they have a tendency to prosper. It's a pretty easy formula, really, if you think about it. And when you're out of debt, Dave Ramsey doesn't understand the power of credit cards. Yeah, I do. I've watched the power of credit cards destroy people's lives for years. I absolutely understand the power of a credit card. And I've watched stupid people write clickbait articles about me and other people saying how to use a credit card, the proper way to use a credit card, and credit cards are good for reward points. Yeah, I've never met a millionaire that said, Dave, I made all my money with airline miles. Dave, those Discover points put me over the top. That was my breakthrough financial moment. Never met a single millionaire, and I've met with thousands of millionaires. Never met one that said that. They all say, I can't believe people fall for credit card debt. I can't believe people continue to use these stupid credit cards. It's like half the population is dying of lung cancer, and everybody's standing around going, well, I guess cigarettes kill you. Well, no kidding. Unbelievable. The credit card is the cigarette of the financial world. It used to be cool. Everybody thought it was neat, and people are catching on that it ain't a good idea. Hello. This is not rocket science, people. Live on less than you make. Becky's on Twitter. Do you literally mean beans and rice, or is that an exaggeration to make a point? Becky, you've got to be kidding me. Do you really think people doing this plan only live on beans and rice? I mean, really? Twits on Twitter. Really? Of course not. It means lower your stupid butt lifestyle and quit spending money like you're in Congress is what it means. It means quit going out to eat. You're broke. It means quit buying the most expensive thing at Whole Paycheck over there and get your dadgum coupons out and have a meal plan and actually cook from scratch because it saves money. And don't go on vacation. You're broke. And don't buy that. You're broke. You have clothes in your closet. Stay out of the mall. Live on less than you make. That's what it means. You have to live on less than you make in order to pay off debt, in order to save and invest, in order to be generous. You can't spend more than you make and end up anywhere but in bankruptcy court. And people are doing it every day, everywhere. See, this stuff we teach here, folks, is not hard to understand. It's very hard to actually go and do it. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
Well, I know a lot of people out there are enjoying the beginning of the year. It's such a great time of year to kind of start fresh. There's something really great about New Year's resolutions. I know they're getting a lot of hate right now on social media, but I personally love them. I love this time to reflect and think through, what was good last year, what was bad last year, and what can I improve on this year? So this month, I'm super excited. My family and I, we are doing a no-spend January.
I love how fun you make this sound, because most people listening are waiting for something actual exciting to be said, and you're like, we're not going to spend money.
It's so exciting.
Woo! Okay, so what's the heart behind this?
Well, the heart behind it is really just rebuilding our habits. So I've been saying that I kind of feel like our budget has been getting fluffy, like my body has from all the Christmas cookies.
So many cookies.
So we're in baby steps 4 through 6, and it's so easy to kind of get complacent in this state. It's easy to kind of go, okay, we are saving a lot to pay off the house, but, groceries are going up, so I'm going to take a little bit from this line item, from our savings and just up the budget. And it's like, before you know it, you're looking at your budget going, how are we spending so much money? Like, it just kind of creeped up. So this is the time where we want to go, okay, wait. We want to go back to when we didn't have money, when we were really, really fiercely aggressive about things, and we want to just cut back. We want to cut out all non-essentials. So that's really the goal, is to cut out all discretionary spending. Anything that's
Good call.
extra.
So money will still be spent. You still have to pay your bills. We're not saying don't pay your bills, everyone. You'll be fine. No, you got to pay the essentials. Keep your 4 walls together: food, utilities, shelter, transportation. But beyond your normal bills, there's a lot of luxuries in the budget.
Oh,
and a lot of things you can cut back on.
Oh, yeah, especially eating out, y'all. That last caller was saying that she struggled with eating out, and I was like, I feel you, girl. That has been such a thing for us. We have 2 small children, a 1 and a 4-year-old, so we've kind of been in the thick of things. And it's just easy to be like, hey, Uber Eats, would you like to deliver something? And also Amazon. It's starting to become so easy to just click without even thinking. And that's been really eye-opening for me. So it's January 4th. We've been on day 4 of this challenge, and it's really interesting because I'm already catching these habits that are kind of subconscious. Like, oh, I need this. I'll just add it to my Amazon cart. And so it's good to just be mindful about your spending and to just really take that month, or, even if it's not a month, a week. I've had some people on social media say that they're just going to do 3 days. And it's like whatever it is that challenges you to kind of rethink how you're spending, rethink your habits, and really get focused and locked in for this year.
I love it. And one thing that I've seen that works really well for any habit you're trying to create, including a no spend month, is to have a calendar. You can print one out for free for January, do whatever you got to do, and you just write a big X through the day where you accomplished it, where we didn't spend any money, we didn't have to. That's a win. And then you don't want to break the chain. That's what happens as you start crossing out the days.
And on the flip side of that, then you still feel like you're winning even if you have one day that's off. So I had somebody on social media last night say, that they struggled one day and they felt really discouraged. But I was like, create that calendar, because then you can see that, you have 31 days in the month. Even if you screw up one day, keep going. This challenge is still worth it. So I want to challenge the listeners. If anybody out there is, starting this year and you're feeling like, hey, I really want to get aggressive with my finances this year. Maybe you're at baby step 2 and you've had that I've had it moment and you're like, hey, I need to figure out how to press in and get rid of this debt. Or maybe you're like us, you're in baby steps 4 through 6 and you want to pay off that house and you're feeling the press of inflation. You're feeling your budget get a little bit squishy, a little bit fluffy. And you're like, hey, I want to get serious about this. Now is the time to do it. Join me, join us. I'll keep you posted on my progress.
Yeah, what are your parameters for this, Christina? Can you give us a little insider details?
Well, no eating out, no fun money, and we are going for a $100 a week grocery budget.
Wow. What is this, 1950, Christina? How are you affording this? People are going, how do you spend $100 and feed? I mean, you got a big family.
Yeah, so I have a meal plan planned out. I have all 7 days kind of mapped out. I've mapped out how much each meal will cost. I'm actually about to share that tonight, a social post.
I can't wait, because I got reamed for my social media post saying that it's cheaper to eat at home than eating out. And the average cost was about $4 a meal at home, $13 eating out. And people are freaking out in the comments going, what did he film? Did he film this in the 1990s? You can't do that in today's America. So I can't wait to see how much your meals are costing you.
Yeah.
Now, you got a family of 4. I was talking about per serving, not necessarily $4 to feed a family of 5 in one meal.
Right. Well, and part of the challenge, too, is using up your pantry items. So we're going to be going, we don't have a huge pantry, but we do want to use up those items that sometimes go bad. So that's part of it. And then just being really strategic to figure out what meals can we make with what we have. So far this week, I spent $45 at the grocery store.
Wow. Where are you shopping? What grocery store?
Kroger for us.
Okay.
But I'm that nerd that's going around like with my calculator, like writing everything out and measuring everything out so that it like actually fits within it. But again, that's a good discipline, because I think we've gotten a bad habit of just kind of, getting what we need and kind of being a little bit lazy about it. So it's forcing and challenging me to go back and go, no, I really need to go to the store with a meal plan, with a list, and stick to my list so I can stay within those parameters.
That's big. And when you've got a spouse and they agree to this, it's easy because you have an accountability partner who is happy to call you out at every corner. But if you're single, you got to find a friend who wants to be on this journey too. And they're out there. Friends, I mean. You can find them.
You can find
friends. Find them on social media. They're all over our page. Join the Ramsey Baby Steps community on Facebook. Oh, my goodness. There's hundreds of thousands of people in there who are ready to cheer you on.
Heck yeah. And you can come to my page. I am Christina Ellis on Instagram. We've got a whole community of people who are doing the challenge together. And it's been really fun, even for me, just to see people chiming in. I asked how everybody was doing last night. And, just to feel those raw emotions with other people. Some people are like, yeah, rah, I'm winning. And other people are like, this hurts and it's hard, but I love it. And that's kind of where that excitement comes from, is that I'm not doing it alone. And I feel that enthusiasm from other people. So it's a challenge.
I love this.
I already had to pack my lunch today, George.
Oh my goodness!
I know.
That's incredible.
I know. I've been
What'd
eating.
You pack?
I kind of just did a mishmash of leftovers. This would make all the people who like their food separated kind of grossed out, but it was like all of our leftovers from.
There are people I found out who are anti-leftovers. They just will not eat leftovers.
Whoa!
I'm like, what kind of privileged existence do you have where you can just say no and throw away the rest of the food? If I did that in my household, Mama Camel would not be having it. I'll tell you that much. We ate leftovers for days, and it was great.
Oh, leftovers are my favorite.
So me and my wife did this, Christina.
Yeah.
We are celebrating almost the 1-year anniversary of our debt-free Scream we did on that stage just about a year ago.
I remember that. That was such a great moment.
And she had the idea of doing the no spend month, and I texted her because I was like, I don't remember what we even did, the specifics of it. So she said she shopped our closet. So instead of shopping for clothes, oh yeah, I forgot I bought that. That shirt still has the tags on it. Maybe you should try wearing that. So get
awesome.
creative with clothing. She would even borrow clothes from friends. She made sure she had all the makeup and beauty products she needed. We would watch movies at home instead of going out to the movies. Eat at home. We could get a nice little steak dinner at home instead of spending 10x that eating out.
That's so great. And another really key thing before you start is to analyze your spending before you jump into this. So go back through the last month's budget and, see what did you spend that was non-essential. So add up those line items, add up those transactions, and then figure out your total. And that's what you can save during this month. And that's pretty exciting because then you can set a goal. Perhaps that's going to be enough that you could knock out, your smallest payment in your debt snowball. Or maybe that's going to be an extra payment on your house. So, use that as motivation to get excited and kind of create a why. This month, it's not going to be easy. There are going to be moments where you're going to really want to spend money, and having that why clear in your mind where you're like, I'm doing this because this house is going to get paid off soon, or I'm doing this because I am getting free from debt. Have that vision clear in your mind. And like you said earlier, it's like if you have a bad day, it's okay. Don't then give it up and say, not worth it, quitting now. Like, use this as a challenge. The real goal is to change your habits. It's to change how you're relating to money
and really pay attention. I mean, you mentioned the word budget. Most of y'all probably are going, I haven't even really done a budget. Well, we'll make it really easy. Every Dollar is a free app that we created. You can do this in under 10 minutes. You can track your spending, and you'll want to throw up at first. But stick with us. Start doing the budget. 3 months later, you build the habit, you've got your why, and all of a sudden, you're accomplishing your goals.
Heck yeah.
Inflation. It's like those old car commercials. Price down. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what
there.
Yeah, it's like inflation is everywhere, and it is at all-time highs. And yet, George, what's interesting about this is that we're also in a season of life in America where incomes are up, but because inflation is so high, in some cases it's a net, meaning you're not getting ahead. You got some current news and data on this.
Yes, so we're going to do a series helping you guys out with what we call your four walls. So this is food, utilities, housing, and transportation. Yeah. Those are the big ones that people are worried about right now. So we're going to start with food today, give you guys some quick tips. Now, these aren't, life-changing hacks that are going to save you hundreds of dollars, but it can help to avoid you feeling that pinch every time you go to the grocery store.
All right.
So let's jump in here. We did a state of personal finance study, and we found that groceries have jumped about 8%, which tracks with inflation here.
Wow.
And the average cost of monthly groceries for one person went from $223 to $410. And for a family of four, it shoots up to $863. Now, a lot of you are going, oh my gosh, that's it? Or, oh my gosh, that much?
You know what the data doesn't cover? The Coleman household, where I have two teenage boys. That's like 3 extra people.
That's true.
The amount of groceries I got to spend.
Those boys can eat. I've seen them.
1 pack of bacon, gone.
Ooh.
Gone in one morning.
Well, that
Gone.
brings me to my first tip here, Ken. We got to shop at the cheapest grocery stores.
There it is.
A lot of people, they have their grocery store, and you can't get Ken Coleman away from Publix. Everyone's got their grocery store.
I'm a Kroger guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wouldn't take you for a Kroger guy.
Really?
Shopping's a pleasure at Publix. I know you're a man of leisure and pleasure.
That's a tagline. I'm all about convenience, and there's one in the neighborhood.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Well,
Aldi is one of the best grocery stores. This is not sponsored, but they just happen to have great prices.
My parents shop exclusively at Aldi. They carry on about how they save money. They're retired.
They get it. It's simple. It's no frills. You got to pay for a bag. You got to put a quarter in the cart. I mean, they're making sure that they're able to give you those low prices in different ways. So Aldi, I love Trader Joe's for their prices. Walmart can be great. Costco can be great if you do it right. Now, Costco can be a danger zone when you get 4 things and it costs you $9,000 because you tried the rice pilaf sample and just had to have a 4-pound bag.
Well, who doesn't need a 6-pack of Polish kielbasa?
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? You can't just buy 1 pack.
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
So choosing a cheaper grocery store for right now, you don't have to go to Whole Foods. We can go to Aldi and get the same thing. Just might not be the name brand. Go generic. Go with the store brand. You'll be okay.
I'm a big generic brand guy.
Number 2, I want you to look for foods that give you more bang for your buck. So we talk a lot about beans and rice here. Never has it been more true. Beans and rice, rice and beans. It's one of the cheapest staple foods, and it's filling.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Bow tie pasta. I'm giving real-life Coleman house hacks as you go along. Bow tie pasta, you can buy 6 boxes for $1.46. It's unbelievable.
Right. Get those carbs. Rice, pastas, those are cheap. Get some sauce.
Yeah, pasta's cheap.
and buying your meat in bulk, as meat is getting expensive here.
Yeah.
So there's one right there. Number 3, actually, cut out the wants and only buy the items you need. This means no frivolous chocolate chip cookies are getting thrown in the cart, Ken.
Oh, it's tough.
What is the actual food that is going to sustain our family?
I really like ice cream, and I can make a case that it sustains my mental health.
Well, we're going store brand, and we're going to get the full gallon to save on cost per ounce.
Well, I'm all about the gallon of ice cream.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's your hack, Ken. So make sure that you're talking with your spouse, if you've got one, about the grocery budget and looking for ways that we can cut things out and making sure nothing frivolous gets added to that list. Now, lastly, Ken, this is one that you probably don't do, but cashback apps.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
I'm a fan. So there's apps like they're called Ibotta, Fetch Rewards. There's one called Checkout 51, Receipt Hog, and what you do.
Receight Hog.
Yes.
If I was going to be into one, that would be the one that I would
just
be into.
based on the name.
Just like I could tell my friends on the phone. Yeah, I got this new app, Receipt Hog. That's fun to say.
I don't know who your friends are, but I hope they enjoy that.
Oh, you actually do.
So they're simple. You upload your receipt, and you'll get cash back for certain items you buy.
Really?
And they tell you,
what about my ice cream? I get cash back on my ice cream?
On certain brands. Now, here's the catch. I don't want you to buy the name brand ice cream that's $2 more to save $1 when you could have got the generic brand. So still shop wisely.
You're stepping on my toes.
Only shop what's in your budget. But it could help you get some money back. If you spend $80, you might get $5-10 back. That helps. Every little bit goes a long way. So remember actual paper coupons. Remember these, Ken? I clipped these on Sundays with my dad growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Big fan of the paper coupon. A lot of them have gone digital now.
Yeah.
But all of these take an extra step. It takes a little bit more research. It takes a little bit more patience and diligence to make sure that before you impulsively walk through the grocery store and then get mad that prices are high, you go in with a list, you go in with a budget, you go in with a plan, and you go in willing to make some sacrifices in order to save some money.
Is there a rule of thumb, George, on how much a person could save? Let's say you've got let's say you're going to go spend $200 as your budget or $300 at the grocery store. How much of that could you save?
Ooh. I'm going to go if you can shave
with
off...
With paper or digital coupons.
I think if you can shave off 5 or 10% of each purchase, I'm calling that a win.
So I've seen these stories like where people get their entire thing for free. That's not real.
Well, you can do that, but you're not going to be able to survive off of that because you can't drink Tide detergent.
Well, you
know
can.
What I mean?
It's just not good for you.
The kids are doing it
these
days.
The kids are
apparently.
doing all kinds of stupid
stuff.
stuff.
So, you know what I mean, though? You're not going to, you can't do that with
So 10%,
rice.
5 to 10% is a realistic. And so all of a sudden, I mean.
Which is the amount of inflation we're seeing.
Yeah.
So it combats that. If you can save 8% and inflation's 8%, it's net zero.
Yeah.
So there's some quick tips for you all. I know there's no easy hack. I wish I could give you some amazing news, but it really just takes some diligence, some sacrifice, and some research in order to get through these strange times when we're seeing groceries up 8%. But also, let's not get crazy. It's 8%. So if it was, $1, now it's $1.08. We're not talking $3, $4, $5 more for that same thing. And this goes with eating out too.
See, now, George, this is why you are a Ramsey personality, a thought leader, and you're winning this space. Because you just
Basic math?
Well, because here's the deal. You make a very good point on the 8%, and you put it in real dollars and cents. All right? People freak out because that's all we get fed are negative headlines, right? The sky is not falling.
No.
Because I hear the stories too. And I'm like, well, I mean, and again, I'm not making a joke. I have 2 athlete boys in my house that are 16 and 13. My 16-year-old's a man-child. I mean, I eat a side of beef
He's
in 2
twice
days.
my size, and I'm a grown man.
Yeah, I need to get longhorns in the backyard. That's the kind of rate of which we are going through protein. I'm serious.
Yeah.
So we've seen our bill jump. But at the same time, it's not like the end of the world. A little bit of discipline, a little bit of budgeting, and you can make your way through this.
Yeah, well, our plan works in good times and bad. And so times of inflation, you go, all right, we have margin in our budget because that's how we live our lives. We live on less than we make. We have an emergency fund. We don't have debt. And therefore, all of that money can go towards helping us survive inflation. And so that's what I want to remind people is follow these steps, do this plan because it works. And, I was just talking to my neighbor yesterday, and we were complaining about gas prices.
Of course.
I just got an electric car, and so therefore I don't need to worry about that.
Oh, boy,
here's what she
go.
said, Ken. She said, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm grateful because I can actually afford it. It's not fun, but I can afford it. And that level of contentment, that's something that we need to have as a society and go, hey, listen, I'm not going to be bankrupted by grocery prices.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people out there who are really, really hurting, and I have a lot of empathy for those people. But for most Americans, this is just man, that stinks. Gas is $100 to fill up instead of 50.
Yeah. Same deal. We get back to the
Readjust
budgeting
the budget
that we talk about. When you know where your money's going, and budget is a plan that tells your money where to go, then you can weather this stuff.
Karina is with us in Montgomery. Hi, Karina. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I have an income problem. I was working at a prestigious law firm where I temped for 3 years. I was brought in to work on BP oil spill claims, and when that project wrapped up, I was out of a job. Now, every time I apply for a job or I go on an interview, folks see that I worked for this prestigious law firm. I'm not there anymore, so there must be something wrong with me. While I was there, I got PTO, I got bonuses. When the project ended, I was given notice, and I was also given severance. I can't find a job to save my life.
What do you do?
I'm a paralegal.
Oh, okay.
I have a BS in legal studies with a paralegal certification.
Gotcha. And you've talked to all the law firms in Montgomery?
Not every single one, but close. I was told by an attorney friend, one, that I'm going to die with my school loans, and the best thing I can do is walk away from my mortgage. I was told by another one just last week that the problem is that there are so many schools in this area turning out attorneys that the attorneys are taking paralegal jobs. And he even introduced me to his own assistant, who is an attorney who's passed the bar, and he's paying him $10 an hour. I can't find a job. I tried pizza delivery. That did not work out. I've tried.
How old are you?
57.
57.
I tried Uber. My beater is more than 20 years old. I've cycled through unemployment. I'm about to get food stamps. I have no income.
And you're single?
I'm single.
Okay. All right.
No kids. I'm an empty nester. It's just me. My mortgage is $550, and I can't pay my mortgage.
Okay.
I don't know what to do.
Well, it is scary. I don't blame you for being scared. I understand. I don't know how to address the paralegal part of this equation.
I'll do anything. Really. Okay.
Oh, I know. I got that. I'm hearing where you are. You're desperate. And you start anywhere and go from there, right?
Yes.
So I always go back to really primitive stuff, like you said. You know, you're delivering pizzas or Uber or whatever, but you're driving a beater and that kind of thing. I mean, I go back to, you know, people make $25 an hour cleaning houses, and you can clean a house. And you just got to find somebody to let you do it, and then find 2 more to let you do it, and then 3 more to let you do it. And if you show up on time and you're honest and don't steal their stuff, and you clean their house and you're good at cleaning and you're a pleasant person, don't stand around and talk all day, you get your work done, then, you know, you're going to get a bunch of houses clean. But that's not ultimately our long-term goal, but at least that would get the wolf away from the door, maybe. I'm just dreaming up something here off the top of my head to try to get you something to do for a little bit of money.
I offered to work for free for my attorney just so I could get the type of experience that attorneys seem to want. And it doesn't need anybody, not even for free.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. I mean, I get that this one guy hired an attorney for $10 an hour who was desperate. I got that. It could be that there's no market for paralegals. I will tell you in general that the economy, the unemployment rate is the lowest it's ever been in recent memory. In general, the economy is white hot. I mean, like, for instance, in our area in Nashville, just a few hours north of you, we have a labor shortage here in terms of finding people to work. There's employment signs on every door when you walk up to a restaurant or a retail situation or anything like that. And so I'm kind of shocked that Montgomery is dead. I don't think it is. So it might be. I mean, you maybe need to move cities. I don't know. But
I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, if you could find something going on. So, I mean, have you seen paralegal hirings in other markets?
I've seen more ads for Birmingham, Tuscaloosa. I'll go anywhere.
Yeah,
really.
That makes sense. What's your house worth?
It might be worth 40, 45.
Mm-hmm.
My neighborhood.
What do you owe on it?
Gone 50.
How much do you owe on it?
I owe 50 on it.
Oh, you owe more on it than it's worth.
Yes. I've been in this house for 15 years. Our neighborhood has gone Section 8,
mm-hmm.
and there are shootings here regularly. Nobody wants to be here.
Okay. Well, that may be why you were getting the advice to walk away from the mortgage. But for $500 a month, you got a place to live for today.
Yes.
Are you a member of a good local church?
Yes.
Okay. Go sit down with your pastor and ask him if he knows business people in the congregation that are hiring. And ask him also to mentor you on interviewing skills and appearance. If there's anything you're doing wrong there, to be blunt with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
absolutely.
Like you need to cut your hair, or you need to get a different suit of clothes, or whatever. Right? I don't know. I have no idea. But I mean, appearance and just talking to you're scared, but you're articulate and intelligent. I don't know why you couldn't carry an interview as far as those skills go. Your interpersonal skills. It doesn't sound like that's killing your interview. I mean, you're not calling me up. You're not calling me up with that kind of a problem, and we know you've got a level of intellect because you don't get through paralegal school if you don't. It's, but you would make an excellent personal assistant for an executive, as an example, because you know how to write, like business letters. You've worked on that kind of thing. So that would be an example of something that you could move into. I don't have any magic pills here, but I'm anything from cleaning houses to moving cities to talking to your pastor. Those are the three things that pop into my head to get you something going where you're not just completely scared and overwhelmed and lost hope. Just a little bit of money changes your whole situation really fast. That's the good news. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Diana follows me at facebook.com/Dave Ramsey. How can someone improve their credit score when there's no debt? You can't. And that's a good thing. We need to understand what a FICO score is. The FICO score has, according to FICO's website, 4 elements to it. How much debt you have, the kind of debt you have, how you pay your debt. It's all about debt. So your FICO score, I ran into a guy this weekend. He said, "No, Dave, I don't really need your information. I have an 850 FICO score. I'm doing fine." And it wasn't a situation where it was a social situation where I couldn't really laugh at him in his face. So I just nodded and said, okay, and walked away because there was I didn't have time, nor did I have the footing in this conversation to completely expose the ridiculous thinking that represents. Let me help you with that. An 850 FICO score does not mean you have money. It does not mean you have an income. It does not mean you have wealth. All it means is you have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest to the bank. It's the only possible way to get an 850 FICO score. You have to have a lot of debt, have had it a long time, and have paid it perfectly. And stayed in debt religiously. As a matter of fact, you've borrowed money just to keep your FICO score up, to be at that level. Now, does that make sense? Well, let's think about it. The number one key to building wealth is having your income to invest instead of having committed it to other people. That means gotten into debt. When you don't have any payments, you have money to invest and to be generous with, and all the data points tell us that that is the fastest way to build wealth. All the research gives us that, plus common sense tells you that. So once we understand that the fastest way to become wealthy is to be out of debt, and we understand secondarily that the FICO score is 100% built off of your relationship with debt. If you have a high FICO score, it means you've been playing kissy face with the bank a lot. Once you understand that, the FICO score is not an I'm good with money score. It's not an I'm wealthy score. It's an I love debt score. And I'm really good at borrowing and paying back a lot of debt over a long period of time score, which is a stupid way to score whether you're winning with money. So when the guy goes, well, I'm doing okay, I've got an 850 credit score, what he really meant was, I'm pretty stupid. I'm giving the bank a lot of money and I don't have any likely. Because the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. That straight line is debt-free. I have my income. I can put it into investments. So, my point being, my credit score, very proudly, is indeterminable, which is the FICO score people way of saying I have a 0 score. Why do I have a 0 score? I have had no debt, no accounts open of any kind for a very long time. If you only will do business with me or loan me money based on my FICO score, we can't do business. I don't have a FICO score. Because I don't borrow money. Because not being in debt is the fastest way to become wealthy. So your goal should not be, how can I keep my credit score up? How can I build my credit? Because building your credit is, I'm going to borrow money. Why? So later I have the opportunity to borrow money. Why? So that I can borrow more money. Why? So I can stay in debt and make those towers in the skyline be owned by somebody else because I gave them my working life's income. You're being ruled over by banks. They're telling you what to do. They're managing your life. They've built it into the culture to the point that people actually walk around bragging about their I love debt score. What a great job the banking industry has done teaching you to be in debt and stay in debt, which is where they make all their money. The credit card is the most marketed product in the history of the world. More money has been spent selling you credit cards, marketing you credit cards than any other product in the history of the world. And it worked. You all have one, or 2, or 22. It worked. Don't you feel stupid? Don't you feel manipulated? Don't you feel used? You should. You're a slave. The borrower is slave to the lender. So don't improve your credit score. Have a goal of having everything paid off and every account closed. And then somewhere around 6 months later, your credit score will be fabulously indeterminable. 0. How would I get a house? How would I get a house? Well, 2 possibilities then. You'd have to get a mortgage with someone that doesn't use a credit score to issue a mortgage, which is a mortgage company who actually knows how to write mortgages the old-fashioned way. It's called manual underwriting, like Churchill Mortgage does. Or you'd have to save up and pay cash. How can you do that? No, you can pay cash for a house. You just tell people not to buy houses. You're just unrealistic. Dave Ramsey is unrealistic. Yeah, I am. And I live that way. I live in an unrealistic world where I've become unrealistically wealthy managing money God's ways. It works every time. So you have to be like that young couple I ran into. He was an engineer and she's a teacher. Just talked to him the other day. They're young. They're making a lot of money for a young couple, so they're unusual, granted. But they were making right around 100. And they're, 24 years old when they started. They had no dad, and they decided they were not going to borrow money for a house. So they lived in an apartment, a garage apartment out back of a rich old lady's house. He cut the rich old lady's grass and kept her gutters cleaned out, and the rent was almost free because of that. Their friends made fun of them. Their parents thought they needed counseling. But they made $100, and their rent was $250 a month in a nice city in a nice neighborhood. But it's a garage apartment over the top of a garage out back of a lady's house. It was not fabulous. And you know what they did? They saved. Almost. Well, I think they saved right at $50,000 a year for 4 years, and they paid cash for a $200,000 house when they were 28. But everybody made fun of them. Now, if you're making, by then, $125,000 a year, and you're 28 or 30 years old, and you never have a house payment the rest of your life, do you know how rich you're going to be? See why you don't need a FICO score? Hello, are you starting to catch on to these numbers? This is real. So don't improve your FICO score. Set out to destroy it as quickly as possible by being 100% debt-free with all accounts closed as soon as you possibly can. So, kind of countercultural, isn't it? Well, the Bible says that. It says, be not conformed to this world. Don't be like everybody else, but be transformed. How are you transformed?